tournaments shocked many people, but it was unsurprising to those people that love playing it. In this video, I am going to break down why this Pokemon, despite being nearly completely absent from competitive play in the last few months, is now scorching the competition. I'm talking about the one and only Armarouge. For those new here, I am Steel Agent Kyle. I'm a Pokemon Unite caster. Featured on the Unite Championship Series broadcasts, I'm a Pokemon Unite community ambassador, and I also host Underdunk, a bi-weekly grassroots tournament on my Twitch. If you like these types of meta and tournament breakdowns, I would love if you gave this video a like. Let's get back into it. The final stretch at the North America International Championships was one of the largest tournaments in the competitive Pokemon Unite season. Played live in New Orleans at the Pokemon North America International Championships, it featured 24 in-person teams, 6 of which were given travel awards to play in it based on them winning the open qualifiers. 6 of the teams playing had also already qualified for Worlds, but there were some notable teams, even 2 that were even given that travel award, that had not punched their ticket to the World Championship Series. This tournament featured a large prize pool and was to award the final Worlds invitation to the team that placed the highest that had not already qualified through the regional bracket. Needless to say, the stakes were very high and the stove was hot. Most analysts predicted that we'd see probably a handful of attackers, Inteleon, Mewtwo Y, Mew, a Miraidon or 2, and maybe even some Espeon. However, what happened at the final stretch shocked a lot of people. Armarouge was picked in nearly 25% of matches and had a near 90% win rate to support that. A 25% play rate was not super notable, not even the highest or even the top 10 overall most picked, but what was really shocking about this is even in the most recent tournament, the regional finals, Armarouge was not even in the top 10 attackers played in the tournament and wasn't selected a single time within the top 8 bracket for North America. It started receiving a little bit of traction in a couple of grassroots tournaments leading up to the final stretch at NAIC, but nothing too major. You would think that with the spike in play and win rate that it must have received a buff to its kit recently. That is not the case. Armarouge has not had an update to its kit since December, when its Unite move Psychoboom was edited to allow it to just be moved during its cast. There was not even any sort of damage increase to it. Outside of that, it's essentially been untouched the entire Unite Championship Series season. So what was it that made this Pokemon so good? Why was it even earning a couple bans in this tournament? And with the 88% win rate, that made it the highest win rate Pokemon in the tournament, potentially of all time in one of these tournaments. The 3rd highest picked attacker, and it was also the 16th most picked Pokemon overall. So how did this Pokemon perform? In the semifinals of the tournament versus Peru Unite, who was the LATAM South Regional Champion and the representative for the tournament of that region, Luminosity Gaming picked it all 3 matches, and they won their set 3-0. Then in the grand finals between Luminosity Gaming and Revelation, it had a 100% encounter rate and a 100% win rate. LG picked it in game 1 and won 742 to 92. Revelation then picked it in game number 2 and won a nail biter 457 to 295. LG then in game number 3, they won a blowout, 1,231 to 11, potentially one of the biggest blowouts in UCS history. Finally, in game number 4, Revelation had enough and went ahead and banned it. In the grand finals, this Pokemon was represented in all 4 games. Let's talk about the build. So the players used a little bit of a mix of builds. Most often, it was equipping Full Heal as the battle item to help avoid hindrances and crowd controls. A lot of the times, the held items were Slick Spoon, Cursed Incense, and surprise, surprise, Rocky Helmet. However, some trainers substituted Slick Spoon for more sustainability with a Focus Band. We even saw some trainers sub out the Rocky Helmet for even more damage, self-sustain, along with a little bit of cooldown with a Shell Bell. For abilities, Fire Spin was selected at level 5 and Psyshock was mostly selected at level 7. Fire Spin is an area of effect ability which cloaks Armarouge and fire. It deals damage to Pokemon with... Welcome in, Pokemon Unite trainers, Underdunk, the Summer Series First Step program, and we are at our conclusion. It is session number 4, and summer is about to exit and fall. I could already see some of the leaves falling in my local park, and I'm very excited. Weather's cooling, but with that said, we do have a little bit of a tournament today. And with me for the first time here on this channel, welcome in Jonathan Hyde. Hyde, how are you doing today, my friend?
Hello, doodly everybody. I'm doing great, actually. I'm super excited to be here. We're finally into the Underdunk's first step session. We tried to get in last week, but the internet went kaboom. But we're here now, and we're excited to give you some live fire commentary.
Yeah. Internet's always a little bit of a shaky subject sometimes. I think like for me, there's like a while where my streams were essentially just cutting out like once a stream because my internet was just all sorts of everywhere. But like I had like it was like a whole thing trying to get the ISP provider and everything. But I digress.
Oh, geez.
Oh yeah, internet service. I need fiber internet. That's like I've been like counting down the days when they're gonna add fiber to my area, but they still haven't. Still waiting for it. But either way, first step broadcast. So this is the last one. We've had 3 already so far. For those that are joining here for the first time and you haven't seen the first step, so kind of what this is we've set up a little bit of a program for new and maybe even just maybe lesser competitive players that want to learn a little bit more about competitive Unite. So they sign up, they join a team. Well, not join a team, they're put on a team. And then they're the mentors that we do have as well are providing sessions in training week and giving some tips, tricks, different ways and options of VOD reviews. So there's a lot of different ways that mentors can help out too. But today is the tournament. So all the teams that have been created and all these individual players or sometimes duos are put onto the teams. And this is what they're going to show off and show out, show exactly what they learned. And we have 9 teams today, if I'm not mistaken. I'm looking at the quote unquote bracket. It's a scorekeeper sheet. We have 9 teams, exclamation point bracket will get you to see what that is. And so 9 teams, and we are doing 3 rounds, I believe is the current state of things. If we do end up doing more, we'll let you know. But so far, 3 rounds. We've had a couple of patches. Worlds just happened, Hyde. Is there any pick in particular, any maybe like 1 or 2 Pokemon that you're thinking of? These are the Pokemon to watch tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Snorlax was always powerful. We've seen him come through. We've seen Suicune come through there. But something that we saw just right in that final match between Peru and Zeta Division was Scyther. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Everybody's been sleeping on this Pokemon. We had it banned out specifically against Peru. And then in that final game, Zeta was like, nah, this isn't a threat. And Peru's like, bro, listen, we're bringing this in. And it swept. Oh my gosh. And we saw Aegis Flame there with a demonic Zeraora coming through. So I think these might be some sleeper picks coming in here. I think we might see some teams start picking up. We see a lot of uptick. So I think Zeraora, Scyther are the 2 picks to watch out for tonight.
I think so too. I think my maybe not a sleeper pick at this point, but the Pokemon that shocked me the most at Worlds is Crustle. It didn't get picked a ton, but when it was picked, it shined very bright, obviously, in the grand finals. Peru taking it a couple of different times and worked it to perfection, I would say. I think they won every game where Crustle was picked in those grand finals. And I believe also in the semifinals, LG in Peru, I believe it won every single game. Maybe lost one of like the 3 games it was picked. But either way, very high win rate in those very prestigious parts of the bracket. So that Pokemon's been really fun to watch. Kind of, it was put down by the wayside for quite a bit because of some, we'll just call them detrimental bugs. The Rock Tomb was bugged for quite some time, where the opposing Pokemon could walk through the Rock Tomb, which when you have a move that is primarily there to make a wall and someone could walk through it, it's not going to be as good as you want it to be. So now that that's fixed, I think this Pokemon is quite good. But also, I think with just the state of where most teams are investing in their bans, Crustle makes it through a lot. Suicune still getting banned at a very high rate, so that one typically does fall under like an all-rounder, but team slotted into the defender. Ho-Oh obviously also still getting heavily banned out, so I think Crustle is a very good option. Had one of the higher win rates of, I believe, at most of the defenders. I think the only defender with a higher win rate was I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Ho-Oh had the highest one, and Crustle was pretty close behind, but not nearly as many encounter rates. But yeah, very excited about the offseason. There's a lot of very interesting changes that are happening across the North America scene. But I think, I don't know how much you've looked into this, Hyde, but I think the thing that I'm most excited about in 2 weeks is going to be Groudon entering the fray.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So I've been advocating for like new maps for years, and when we got Thea Sky Runes, I was like, "Woo!" And then now we're bringing Groudon in. We got new maps, new mechanics coming in. I think we're getting a few Reggie lane changes too. We're going to see some Reggies coming into the top side now instead of just Lecky. So move over. The king of top side's getting dethroned. So. My gosh, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait for Groudon to come in.
Yeah, Groudon's going to be a little bit of a game changer for those that do not know exactly what Groudon's going to do. It's still a little bit up in the air, but we do know a lot of information. So instead of it providing a massive shield that once broken is completely gone, the shield currently for Rayquaza, it gives you a shield, it gives you some buffs to your attack, and it increases your scoring speed, making those late game scores a lot easier, especially during the final stretch when they are doubled. Groudon a little bit different. Groudon is still going to give you a shield from what it looks like, at least what the leaks have shown along the information that we have, but it is a buff that will still increase the score speed, if I'm not mistaken, but it can be stolen, which I think is very cool because that still gives some opportunities for teams to come back, but it does have some good counterplay. And it punishes you if you do, walk a little bit too close to the sun, because you can hand over that buff to the opposite team. So I think we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, 2 weeks is a long time, and maybe some things will change by, like Rayquaza did when it first joined the fray. I think there were a couple of changes that happened pretty quickly, but we'll see. I am excited. I think the change to the map, whether it's the top and bottom objectives or just the locations of the tall grass, will be very excited. But Bina, I think we have a full lobby. I see you back in here now.
Are we ready to go?
I believe so. Totodile's on the left, Fireworks on the right. Yes.
Yep. That is correct.
That sheet's so great. Yeah, we are ready to rock. It makes it really nice seeing, like, I could see who's going to be first pick one, and I could get that prepped. So it's great.
All right, we are starting.
Okay, we'll get into game number 1 here. So it's going to be the Tangerine Totodiles. I couldn't fit Tangerine. I might abbreviate it, but we'll see. But let's get into game number 1. Tangerine Totodiles on your left side, Fennekin Fireworks on your right side. I'm already seeing Hyde looking like we're maybe lining up that Ho-Oh ban like we talked about.
Yeah, Ho is a nasty Pokemon to see at Rayquaza there with the revival coming in. It's not just one person, it's not just two, it's team-wide potential. Ladio's coming in. That's a decent one. It's very strong right now. I'm gonna round out Totodile's bans with Charizard. Ooh.
Yeah, Charizard also getting, you see, like, in that left-hand corner of your screen, the top bans at Worlds, and we see 3 of them already. Ho-Oh, 47% ban rate, Latios, 61, Charizard, 47. So none of that, and in addition to that is going to be that Suicune, which a lot of people think is also first pick worthy, but without that, you're going to also get this Blissey that, to me, is one of the better supports, even though it didn't perform quite well at Worlds.
Oh yeah, no, Blissey is still good. I mean, like, when you pop in, you got Safeguard. That's going to help. When you don't have a lot of stun or anything like that, you got a lot of options with eggs. Yeah, if you need breakfast, Blissey got your back there. But Alcremie, just as strong, being locked in for Fennekin's Fireworks here. got a lot of nice boosted with the shields, got a lot of nice stuns with the dazzling, or if you want to get nice recovered with some dolloped cream, that'll heal you up right away.
Tangerine Totodile's bringing breakfast with Blissey. Fennekin Fireworks bringing the dessert with Alcremie. Taking a look at kind of what we're rounding out, I'm seeing that Phalanx that was hovered. I don't think that you would probably want to select Phalanx this early in draft. It seems like it could be easily countered by a number of Pokemon on the roster, whether it be something like an Eldegoss or Alola Ninetales, Venusaur. So I do like this pivot here. You're getting that Aegislash, which could be really good for kind of slicing through some of the bulk that you're going to have with that Blissey along with the Buzzwole. Also, some of the micro stuns against Buzzwole is going to be really strong. Although Aegislash, notoriously slow to start. So I imagine we may see this one in the jungle, but I could still see it going top path as well.
Oh, for sure. Aegislash in the top, Aegislash in the jungle, but Rizkage is going to be looking to lock in that Absol. So I think that's where we're going to see Aegislash right in the top lane. Absol going straight into that center path to capture all those wild Pokemon and get to that level 5 sooner than later.
Taking a look at the overall composition here. And this Alolan Raichu, it's something that hadn't performed in competitive for quite some time, but recently getting some buffs to not only just its overall kit, but specifically the Electro Ball build, which to me was probably the only way to play it competitively, and getting a buff was a little bit of a head scratcher to me, so I'm excited to see. I played it a little bit since the buff, and it feels incredibly powerful. You can set up some very cool plays with the Electro Balls.
Oh yeah, send it into bushes. If you know your spawn timers for all of the Pokemon coming in, like those birds, when we have the Altaria Swablu's coming in here, you just pile up your Electro Balls sitting right on top of that, and then as soon as they spawn in, they're gone right to your side of the field. Raichu is deceptively strong right now. I think a lot of people sleep on it, but going up into Miraidon, so they're going toe for toe on range, I'll tell you that.
They really are. Yeah, Miraidon's going to have the best range of everything, but Raichu does have some good kite ability. But this is going to be game number 1 of our first round. Tangerine Totodile is going to be on your purple side. Fennekin Fireworks going to be on your orange side. And immediately we're seeing which way these central area Pokemon are going to be going. It's going to be Absol for Fennekin, and it's going to be Raichu for the Totodiles.
Ooh, and here we go. We have Milcery and Aegislash into the top lane. Snorlax, Miraidon into the bottom. They're looking to capture this in DD as quickly as possible. Snorlax going to grab it. Now they're going to collapse onto these. Totodiles needs to back off because they are getting a little bit overpressured here. But Snorlax coming in with a mean tackle, taking all those far and being like, listen, bro, I got the Ultra Balls. I bought the early pass. I'm going to take these Pokemon.
Snorlax has a notoriously strong early game with that tackle. Great last hitting ability, which is why a lot of teams still are prioritizing it, despite its win rate in the more recent patches. But let's look at this little push up here from the central area Pokemon, Alolan Raichu coming up.
Raichu throwing down a lot of pressure. We are at the 850 birds yet, but they're backing off, getting farm ready to go, trying to capture as much as they can. They're trying to get that Blissey to level 4.
Blissey level 4 would be nice, but it looks like it's not going to happen. Absol hiding in the tall grass, going to pursue, do a little bit of damage to the Blissey. Well, this Buzzwole is starting to scale up.
We have Raichu, we have Blissey online now. We have Buzzwole almost to level 5. We have Snorlax just beaming it up there with a nice tackle, being like, look at me, I'm the star. Miraidon throwing down the charge beam onto the pad. Charcadet taking it like a champ, but the Umbreon. Umbreon was not doing too well there.
Right now, it is a little bit of an advantage for the Totodiles. They were able to get a lot of EXP their way, but it is looking like Fennekin Fireworks is having their central area a little bit of an invade here on the Alolan Raichu, so this is going to be a great play, great opportunity for the Absol.
Even though you got that kite ability on that Raichu, you are going to get got by any kind of speedster coming in here. And Absol proven like, listen, I got this. You think this is yours? No way, that's mine. Buzzwole coming in here, guards the Doublade with a nice knockout here, being able to swing this top side for a nice 15. Trying to get its stacks there. Snorlax coming in. Huge heavy slam. Blissey not able to score. Buzzwole caught out. Absol going to pick up the knockout.
This is why I was a little bit worried about the Doublade in the top path. Buzzwole Notorious has a very strong early game, so good job, though, with the Absol supporting that Doublade to try to get it online as fast as possible. It needs its level 7. The Right's going to struggle, so Absol helping out is going to be very key here.
Absol diving on that Blissey, but pulling off. Very low HP. Raichu following up, unrelenting with that pressure. There goes the Doublade. One more basic. Oh, there it goes down. Alcremie soon to follow as Raichu's raining down electric attacks to knock out the Alcremie.
Very strong plays here for the Totodile. So this is kind of what you go to expect with the composition that they're throwing out. Very strong early game. And if you're able to slow down this Absol, which they have been so far, it's going to be very, very positive on the way of the Totodiles. Right now, they are prioritizing this Regieleki. They should be able to take it, potentially look towards pushing it into that T2, but we got a fight here on the bottom side.
Snorlax diving in with the heavy slam, but doesn't quite have block yet, so it's just going to take a nap. Miraidon Absol collapsing. They're trying to get the steal. Armarouge with the steal on Regirock. Coming in here, Snorlax got to take a nap again as Armarouge starts coming in here with that fire spin. They are disengaging, but Umbreon now caught out. Absol looking to pick up the KO, and it grabs it right there. Raichu Unite coming in. Buzzwole jumping down. There goes a knockout on the Alcremie as Totodiles is now pushing this pad, looking to dump as many points, but Absol's not done. Huge Unite move coming through, but now it has to back off.
Good defensive stand here for the Fireworks. This Snorlax is dangerously low on HP. Buzzwole might have misclicked their Unite move too. Otherwise, they probably take out one, maybe two Pokemon there. So very fortunate for Fennekin Fireworks that they survived a lot of this onslaught of damage coming from that Buzzwole and potentially a wasted Unite move. But look at this. Raichu's going to have to be very careful here.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you might have Kite, you might have Dash, you might have a little bit of range, but when it comes to Snorlax, he will dive on you, he'll lock you up with block, and allow his team to collapse. It's a deadly combo, and it's one that's a tale as old as time.
Giving this central area over to the Aegislash, finally going to have that Unite move in tow. Actually, maybe, I don't know if they haven't clicked it yet, but it's showing that they don't have it. Okay, there it is. Okay, I was like, when did they use it? I haven't heard it yet, but we do have a little bit of a push here. Blissey grabbing some vision along with the Umbreon. Armarouge, that might be pushed a little too forward, so Totodile's going to have to back up a little bit here.
And as it comes, there we go. Fennekin's Fireworks is doing a 5-man push onto this bottom pad here. Charge Beams coming out. Umbreon Unite coming out. But look at the reverse sweep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Fennekin's Fireworks goes down. Miraidon going to be the final victim as Totodiles locks in these scores, does some quick math, and are now sitting at 184-0 with a 4 KO streak on the Raichu.
Raichu getting the 4 KO, but the heavy lifting completed by that Armarouge Psycho Boom. What an incredible hit landing on, I believe, 3 separate Pokemon. So that really set up that Raichu for success. But it is Fennekin Fireworks putting a little bit of pressure on this T1 goal zone.
Yeah, that Buzzwole's already ripping. Absol's trying to get it, but Buzzwole's fighting Aegislash. It might be a losing battle. But no, he grabs it up. Absol Alcremie pushing with the Regieleki, letting Regieleki hit first.
Regieleki trying
it is a 2v2 right now.
Trying to make
go ahead.
Trying to make its way, unable to do so, at least for the time being. A little bit of a fight up here. Alcremie might have just been trying to grab some vision, but unfortunately they're going to be going down. But wow, looked like Totodiles might have had a little bit of a misstep here and let that Regieleki walk.
It might also be a nice way to get some bait there. Regieleki is in. That score is instant. Anybody who's looking to have a huge cap of points like this Absol, look at that. Yep, there it is, going for it. And Totodiles was waiting. They're like, no way, bro. Ambush time.
Yeah, Buzzwole right now, I mean, that's kind of the name of the game. It's got off to a pretty significant lead. It's held parity with a lot of the Pokemon, and actually, you see it right there on your left side of the screen. Level 13, so it has held its own and is the level leader and has another KO under its belt.
Oh, yeah, he had to give that Blissey a helping hand. He was like, listen, you helped me a lot of time, bro. Here, this one's for you. Get your points on the board. We're 50 seconds away from Rayquaza now. What do teams need to do to get back into this fight here for the side of Fennekin's Fireworks, Kyle?
It's a good question. Right now, Fennekin Fireworks is very much behind. You see the scoreline 241-20. There is this basement Reggie that the Totodiles will likely be able to take off the map because they have that positioning. So Fennekin Fireworks likely going to set up in the Rayquaza central area very early, try to get some information, maybe try to grab some vision on where the Totodiles are going to set up. If they could maybe pick off the Alolan Raichu or maybe the Buzzwole before they're able to get a Unite move off, that could be very pivotal.
We're 10 seconds out. This might be the Rayquaza fight. Aegislash is low, has to pull out. Umbreon is on top of the world right now, trying to get anything but Miraidon says, no way, we're going to extract. But now this role is reversed. Snorlax getting caught out. Raichu coming in. Huge power nap coming out from the Snorlax. Be like, listen, I'm going to get all my HP, going to get all my shields back. As Buzzwole is now in the middle of this fight.
Yeah, good spot there for Buzzwole. They see that the Rayquaza is getting dangerously low. There's some Unite moves. Raichu gonna go for it. Totodiles pulls it out of the hat.
Raichu with the secure. We were talking about, listen, it's got kite ability, but it's gonna get pulled out. It's gonna get outranged. We might have a lot of strength, but let me tell you, Raichu pulled up and performed. Oh my gosh. Grabbing the last hit on the Rayquaza without the secure. I'm pretty sure that was just like a boosted there.
Yeah, it might have just been a boosted. You look at Fennekin Fireworks. Honestly, I love the play from them. They kind of knew they had vision, right? You saw a couple Pokemon had full vision on exactly where the Totodiles were set up. There's 4 of them below the central area. So Fennekin Fireworks was starting to go for the rip. Unfortunately, they just did not have the secure tools in hand, and Raichu took full advantage, laid down their Unite move, and rest is history. The white flag was waved from the Fennekin Fireworks, so it was a good game 1 in the books.
Is, but there's one more to go. Fennekin Fireworks is down. It's 1-1, or it's 1-0, but they can come back easily. I'm not sure where they could have come back though. I mean, it was definitely tough. I think they just got really diffed on the micro of their mons.
Yeah, I'm taking a look at the overall stats, and one of the things that I really like to look at is not only the damage dealt, but also the damage taken, and you can kind of see where things might have gone a little bit awry for the Fennekin Fireworks, and it was what we talked about. That Alolan Raichu kind of went unchecked, right? 60-something K damage dealt, only like 15K taken. So even though you had that last pick, or that last pick of the Absol, it just couldn't find an angle to get on top of that Alolan Raichu. And you can probably thank partially the Umbreon, partially the Armors. It's really a team effort because there were a lot of Pokemon that prevented Absol from really ramping up.
Oh yeah, Protect the President combinations are absolutely devastating, and when you're an Absol, you're not able to get onto that. You got the pressure of the Armarouge Fire Spin. You've got you got a lot coming in, especially with Umbreon with foul play. That's going to lock you up and stun you out, and when you're squishy like Absol, that's just juicy fodder for the rest of their team.
It is. Bina, you're clear. I'm sure you saw that.
Yeah, watching the feed today.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
All right. Sweet. Tangerines are switching sides. Tangerine. Oh, it does fit. Tangerine Totodiles. I just had to change the thing.
All right. Teams are ready to go.
Sick. Let me, Fennekin. Oh, yeah. You can hit it. I just need to change save the thing. Spelling fireworks would be a good start, honestly.
That's a hard word.
You know, there's like 8 letters.
Unique letters. Yeah, and they're all different.
Yeah. See, I need that keychain, the I can't read keychain, but the I can't write.
I hope you get it.
I
hope you get it.
I'm going to. Well, my duo partner has it. He got it when we were at Riptide, like last year, the year before. So I hope that person is at Riptide again, so I could buy like all of the keychains, because I honestly want all of them. I will buy at least 3, maybe 4. Maybe we'll get a good deal on.
Maybe you'll forgore and you'll buy them all.
I forgore. That one's so good. It's like I forgore. I remember. Oh, it's so good. All right, well, going to get into game number 2. Fennekin Fireworks on the left side this time. Tangerine Totodiles on your right side. And Fennekin Fireworks, they've had enough of the Alolan Raichu, and it's going to make its way into the ban category this game.
Oh, yeah, they're like, listen, Absol, we can bring back it. We can get it onto anything else you want, but that Raichu, now we're getting rid of that. That was too oppressive here. But Suicune, Charizard, but that is, oh, right, Kyle, Ho-Oh's making it in. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I mean, Ho-Oh has been very strong throughout the last, really, like, month or so once it got some of the changes to Sacred Fire. So that one is quite powerful. So it's going to be kind of a defender, but also kind of plays a very disruptor style build, especially with the flamethrower Sacred Fire build, which is really good. I like the abilities, or not the ability, the item set too. I love the Resident Guard because you're constantly applying the fire, so you're often getting those shields. But look at this early pick of the Phalanx.
Mintley on Phalanx actually is not surprising. We did some scrims earlier this week, got to cast them for them, and she has been dominating on that with that Phalanx there. That oh my gosh, let me tell you, Phalanx is demonic in her hand. So Tangerine Totodiles needs to watch out for Mintley on that Phalanx because you don't know exactly what you're up against.
I think Tangerine Totodiles is going to have to pick something here to maybe slow that thing down. I would love to see a true counter to Phalanx. Otherwise, it could really, just kind of run away with it. Thinking something, Petal Dance Venusaur would be quite powerful. They've already picked their support and their tank core, so you can't really pick an Eldegoss here. But something to really shut that Phalanx down would be great. But you also kind of have to worry about a few things here, right? You have that Glaceon that can really shred through that bulk of the Blissey and the Snorlax. So I would love to see something that would maybe be able to take that out. I think the Blaziken is quite a good pick into the Glaceon, though.
Oh, yeah. No, the Glaceon into the Blaziken here. The Blaziken's got the dive with the Blaze Kick. It's got Eject as a tool to get onto it through the Overheat as well. The ability on Glaceon will be able to help it like avoid it, but if you're able to break that, like you got Espeon, you got Snorlax, you got even Buzzwole being able to break that there if you break it able to. Buzzwole even is a very dangerous engage for Glaceon once its ability is broken.
Urshifu, another Pokemon that received buffs in this more recent patch to not only one kit, but both of its kits. And taking a peek at the specific item build, so you're seeing that full heal, which typically leads to me to believe that is going to be that Rapid Strike Urshifu, so the Water Bear set, which is kind of like almost like a pseudo speedster. It has very good chase potential, very good team fighting too, so it can be very tough to deal with. So look for a lot of brawling from the Fennekin Fireworks, and then if they're able to keep this Glaceon protected, it's going to be very high damage numbers for them.
They are. Protect the President worked for Tangerine Totodiles. There's no reason why it can't work for the Fennekin Fireworks, but we are off to game number 2. Fennekin Fireworks, your purple team. Tangerine Totodiles, your orange team, as we come in here and enter our lanes.
Alrighty, Buzzwole going in the top path, gonna face against that Ho-Oh. Look at this little play here. Good secures here from Average. Not an average secure, but great secures early on. It's gonna mean very good position when it comes to those first ganks from the central area Pokemon. But losing Buzzwole is gonna be very tough.
Oh, Blissey's on the chopping block too. Now Buzzwole down. Yes, that is tough. But Blissey has great secure here. Yeah, there it is. Captures that Bunnelby. Says, hey, no way. We got this going down. Oh, keeping that pressure on, though. Nice tailwind as Buzzwole rejoins the fray with Combuskin.
Combuskin coming up to the top half for that first little push here. Blissey might be going down. Uh-oh, taking that KO. But returning the favor is that Combuskin. Right before these 850 burrs, Buzzwole looking for some stacks, so working that attack weight up. But, ooh, great steal there from the Urshifu to prevent a couple extra stacks.
Altaria Swablues have made their appearance. And we don't have the Combuskin here. Fennekin's Fireworks is just going to be all over this.
Ooh, yeah, look at this. Yeah, very unfortunate positioning there because you really just yield all that experience over to the fireworks. And now that means that this Urshifu has been fed, which means that they're going to look for that central area invade and they find a KO early.
And with that, we're level 4. We're level 6 on Urshifu, level 4 on Buzzwole. We do not have our superpower. And that is a double KO knockout for this Urshifu coming in as it now invades the center area of this Combuskin. We don't have Blaziken, but now he just got it. He's a big bad bird, and Urshifu is not a big bad bear, so he's getting the heck out of there.
8-minute Altaria family in a central area, and this is just a master class of map presence for Fennekin Fireworks, especially on this Urshifu's end. They've been all over capturing those wild Pokemon, ensuring that they keep their levels up, and they've even allowed their own Pokemon. So you see that Glaceon holding the buffs from the left side of the map since Fennekin Fireworks was able to take the Totodile's buffs.
We have a huge pad break right here. We are 30 seconds out from our first objective spawning on the map here, 126 to 18, as we now are getting a little bit of holo pressure here coming on to try to defend the pad in the top side.
A Leech Life on the Buzzwole. So I actually really like this into the Ho-Oh because you could kind of stun it out of the Flamethrower, which will be very useful, and it is very self-regenerating.
But huge KO on the Buzzwole here. Urshifu coming in. Oh, there it is. Double KO knockout there, but Comfey is the survivor because Urshifu goes down to the Blaziken. Blissey get taken out. I believe that was by a ball toy attack. But the credit going to go to the side of the Fireworks as Phalanx locks in Regirock.
Off-laning from the Phalanx. That's exactly what you want it to be doing right now, trying to get massive. Because you already have level 9 on that Urshifu. Once you get level 9 on that Phalanx, it will be absolutely on. You already have a Unite move also from the Glaceon. So right now, Unite economy in the advantage for the Fennekin Fireworks. You're going to maybe look to start this fight.
Phalanx is getting caught up, but it's no. He's like, listen, you're not in my, I'm not in your trap. You're in mine. Nice little mega horns coming out here as Buzzwole looks to collapse and get behind the enemy. He's retreating now as we come out, and Blaziken scores a nice small score here as it engages on this Glaceon.
Yeah, 40 points is nothing to, smirk at, because that's going to be a very nice play there for the Totodile. They need to find something somewhere on the map, because right now Fennekin Fireworks has full positional advantage. You see that they are able to break that T1 goal zone on the top side. They've already broken it on the bottom side, so right now Fennekin Fireworks has full control of the map, and they're also going to grab this Regieleki for good measure, so look for Fennekin Fireworks to maybe invade once again.
And we're seeing exactly that. Glaceon coming in here. Blissey on 1 HP in a dream here coming through. Glaceon going to be able to shred that down. There it is. Blissey going to go down here to the nice knockout. Holo doing what it can to zone out with a nice fire spin as Regieleki's trying to come through. Team is now down, but they're back. Kofi's gone, but Urshifu Phalanx rejoins the fray. But it's not going to be enough as Totodiles comes in with a massive full frontal assault, being like, this is our home, and we're defending it right to the last man.
That was an incredible defensive stand for the Totodiles, and exactly what the doctor ordered. Look at this Blaziken now, level 12. That is the highest level in the game. Was going to say 2 levels higher than anything the Fireworks have, but Urshifu just ticked into level 11. But that is literally exactly what you need. You need that comeback experience, and couldn't have come at a more pristine time. And now we have this another basement fight here. Blaziken might be getting a KO on the Phalanx, and they do.
Oh yeah, Phalanx is a bad matchup for Blaziken coming in here. With all of that healing that Blaziken's able to do and receive, oh, it's just going to go down here. But they take a nice power position, Totodiles does. Locks in the Regice as they now push this tier 1 bad in the bottom zone.
Great plays here. A lot of crowd control for the Totodiles. Great push there from Blaziken as they're able to take the Phalanx and the Urshifu and send them back to the Pokemon Center. We do have the Glaceon up, covered by the Comfey, but great plays for the Buzzwole. Now we have a fast break towards this T2 pad. Fennekin Fireworks are able to defend it. They have that jump pad, and they weren't able to, Tangerine Totodiles was not able to yield or push that T2 goal zone, but they got exactly what they wanted in that fight.
They did indeed, and Fennekin Fireworks is still in that positional advantage into the top side here. We have our pad up. We are engaging on this Red Delecki. We're going to burn it down, and we're going to wait for Urshifu to grab the secure right here, right now.
Jalecki will walk towards that T2 goal zone, allowing Fennekin Fireworks to maybe take a little bit of time to capture some wild Pokemon on their side of the map. There aren't really any objectives coming to the map anytime soon. They could look for a little bit of vision or a little bit of a push. They are heading towards the own central area, maybe a T2 push on the bottom side, but good vision from Buzzwell down there.
Yeah, Buzzwell's going to see that down there, but Ho-Oh is on the retreat. 1 minute left until Rayquaza. He's got 35 points. He goes down. He could lose it all. But Fennekin Fireworks pushing. They're trying to get whatever score they can. Espeon with a valiant effort there, but no. Urshifu said, I've had enough. Dive into the Flux Zone, but it might be enough to take it down. Glacian pulling out now as Fennekin Fireworks looks to disengage from this fight completely.
They do disengage, at least for most of them. The Urshifu they might be going back to the Pokemon Center pretty soon, but 30 seconds until Rayquaza. It is a close game, maybe not in the game, a slight lead for Fennekin Fireworks, but in all intents and purposes, it is a relatively close game. While the Fennekin Fireworks has the point advantage, the Tangerine Totodiles has the advantage on the levels. Things to look out for here. Secures from that Blaziken Overheat, one of the best secures in the game, probably the best thing on the map right now. So Fennekin Fireworks are going to need to take that thing out, but a level 14 is going to be very difficult to do. One other thing to note is that Blaziken utilized their eject button in that last fight, so they will likely not have it until halfway through this Rayquaza. Getting some positional advantage right now is the Fennekin Fireworks trying to grab some vision. Ho-Oh does spot the Snorlax in the tall grass. Phalanx on the backside trying to spot where Tangerine Totodiles is set up.
Yeah, that Phalanx is looking for that Blaziken and is being like, listen, I don't want to engage on that yet, but if I find that Espeon, if I find that Buzzwole, I'm getting on top of that.
Taking a look. Once again, this is a very slow start, but oh, great push here from the Blaziken on the Ho-Oh.
Oh, that's huge for the Tangerine Totodiles. They take down the Ho-Oh. That's the team revival. They're like, this is it. This is the engage. Snorlax holding back the Phalanx and over there, but we have Urshifu on the Buzzwole. 4-on-2 right now with the Pokémon Unite coming through. They're doing everything they can, and the Tangerine Totodiles picks up Urshifu. There goes the Comfey. Phalanx is the next on their list, and there it goes down on the valve. Now they're going to collapse from the Great Green Dragon. Secure it. Glacia, not enough. Tangerine Totodiles gets the Rayquaza. Hundo Burgers now going in for the side of them.
Oh, Ho-Oh getting caught with their hand in the cookie jar. Very unfortunate for the Firework, because they needed that revival, especially when Tangerine Totodiles went on the full offensive, knocking out every single Pokemon. Could have been very useful. That's kind of the one downfall of having Ho-Oh as kind of your sole tanky Pokemon is you kind of get yourself into a little bit of trouble. You need to be a little bit more reactive sometimes, because a good catch like the Totodiles had can really set off a bad Rayquaza.
Oh, for sure. That when you're overextending with Ho-Oh, that's one of the tricky things with the defending with Ho-Oh is you're as your role as the defender, as the role as the tank, you got to get vision on where the enemy team is. But with the uniqueness of your Unite move, you got to play it safe. You got to play it careful. And Fennekin and Tangerine Totodiles did so well being able to capitalize on the fact that the Ho-Oh was so far forward.
Yeah, Ho-Oh to me seems like it's kind of one of those defenders that doesn't quite have a true identity, because you would typically, with the Unite move being how pivotal it is, you kind of want to play more of like a peel, try to get your dive out of a sticky situation instead of like being that engage point. In that situation, it was very much that engage point, and with the positioning that the Totodiles had, able to chain their hindrances on it and really take it down. And once that Ho-Oh went down, they knew that they had a pretty good opportunity to just kind of keep pressing forward. I believe they found the Phalanx next, and then the Urshifu right after that. And I loved this Buzzwole pick, but I think the thing that I liked even more than the Buzzwole pick was that last pick of the Blaziken.
Yeah, Blaziken was a menace, as we can see here. 77k damage. He was on top of it. He might have been online a little bit later than he initially wanted to, being able to take that jump, taking that center path there, but came back and was demonic. Maybe that's what Demo stands for. It's the short form of demonic.
Honestly, probably. I wouldn't doubt it. We are going to be doing our drawing. We'll do our first drawing for our Latias license. So we have a couple licenses that we are going to be giving away to some of our participants today, courtesy of Pokemon for the gifted licenses. So this will be all of our players that are participating today. So we are going to go ahead and do our first drawing. Let me get my notepad to make sure I have who we are picking each time. So we have some licenses, and then we also have coin packs. So the first one will be for a license, and then our second spin will be for a coin pack. Latias?
Ooh, coins. I mean, with so many Pokemon coming out now for September to December, the coins are going to be huge.
True. I think it's like 4,000 coins. So this one's for the Latias. Bo-yo. Thought it was gonna be Porphyry, which I believe Porphyry got I think they won last time, so that would have been pretty crazy. All right.
Oh wow. They got back-to-back wins.
I know, right? This one's for the coin pack, so we'll take a peek on who's getting that. And we got Haley McGee.
Yo, Haley! My girl Haley got it. Woohoo! There you go, Haley.
I feel like Haley won something one of the other ones. I'm not sure if it was last session, but she won something. But yeah, all right, cool.
I was going to say, I think she got one of the Alcremes.
Nice. That's awesome. Well, another supporter to add to the fray, but congratulations. We'll make sure to send out these codes, I believe tomorrow is usually we do it the day after. But with that said, we are going to take a quick break while we get set up for our next round matchup. So don't go too far, folks. We'll be back very, very shortly.
See you soon.
Pick just rewrote the meta. It stole the show from the usual S-tier attacker picks. What happened this past weekend at one of the largest Pokemon Unite tournaments shocked many people, but it was unsurprising to those people that love playing it. In this video, I am going to break down why this Pokemon, despite being nearly completely absent from competitive play in the last few months, is now scorching the competition. I'm talking about the one and only Armarouge. For those new here, I am Steel Agent Kyle. I'm a Pokemon Unite caster. Featured on the Unite Championship Series broadcasts, I'm a Pokemon Unite community ambassador, and I also host Underdunk, a bi-weekly grassroots tournament on my Twitch. If you like these types of meta and tournament breakdowns, I would love if you gave this video a like. Well, let's get back into it. The final stretch at the North America International Championships was one of the largest tournaments in the competitive Pokemon Unite season. Played live in New Orleans at the Pokemon North America International Championships, it featured 24 in-person teams, 6 of which were given travel awards to play in it based on them winning the open qualifiers. 6 of the teams playing had also already qualified for Worlds, but there were some notable teams, even 2 that were even given that travel award, that had not punched their ticket to the World Championship Series. This tournament featured a large prize pool and was to award the final Worlds invitation to the team that placed the highest that had not already qualified through the regional bracket. Needless to say, the stakes were very high and the stove was hot. Most analysts predicted that we'd see probably a handful of attackers, Inteleon, Mewtwo Y, Mew, a Miraidon or 2, and maybe even some Espeon. However, what happened at the final stretch shocked a lot of people. Armarouge was picked in nearly 25% of matches and had a near 90% win rate to support that. A 25% play rate was not super notable, not even the highest or even the top 10 overall most picked, but what was really shocking about this is even in the most recent tournament, the regional finals, Armarouge was not even in the top 10 attackers played in the tournament and wasn't selected a single time within the top 8 bracket for North America. It started receiving a little bit of traction in a couple of grassroots tournaments leading up to the final stretch at NAIC, but nothing too major. You would think that with the spike in play and win rate that it must have received a buff to its kit recently. That is not the case. Armor Rouge has not had an update to its kit since December, when its Unite move Psychoboom was edited to allow it to just be moved during its cast. There was not even any sort of damage increase to it. Outside of that, it's essentially been untouched the entire Unite Championship Series season. So what was it that made this Pokemon so good? Why was it even earning a couple bans in this tournament? And with the 88% win rate, that made it the highest win rate Pokemon in the tournament, potentially of all time in one of these tournaments. The third highest picked attacker, and it was also the 16th most picked Pokemon overall. So how did this Pokemon perform? In the semifinals of the tournament versus Peru Unite, who was the LATAM South Regional Champion and the representative for the tournament of that region, Luminosity Gaming picked it all 3 matches, and they won their set 3-0. Then in the grand finals between Luminosity Gaming and Revelation, it had a 100% encounter rate and a 100% win rate. LG picked it in game 1 and won 742 to 92. Revelation then picked it in game number 2 and won a nail biter 457 to 295. LG then in game number 3, they won a blowout, 1,231 to 11, potentially one of the biggest blowouts in UCS history. Finally, in game number 4, Revelation had enough and went ahead and banned it. In the grand finals, this Pokemon was represented in all 4 games. Let's talk about the build. So the players used a little bit of a mix of builds. Most often, it was equipping Full Heal as the battle item to help avoid hindrances and crowd controls. A lot of the times, the held items were Slick Spoon, Cursed Incense, and surprise, surprise, Rocky Helmet. However, some trainers substituted Slick Spoon for more sustainability with a focus band. We even saw some trainers sub out the Rocky Helmet for even more damage, self-sustain, along with a little bit of cooldown with a Shell Bell. For abilities, Fire Spin was selected at level 5 and Psyshock was mostly selected at level 7. Fire Spin is an area of effect ability which cloaks Armor Rouge and Fire. It deals damage to Pokemon within that area, and it also gives Armor Rouge a shield that can stack up to 6 times. It also gives a 20% movement speed increase while the Vortex is active. This ability tends to help Armor Rouge self-sustain in long team fights and gives it quite a big punch. Psyshock was the second ability that was mostly favored by the squads. Since you're playing with Fire Spin mostly, you're primarily limited to fighting within a small vortex. Psyshock gives a little bit of additional utility for Armor Rouge. What Psyshock does is it sends out 3 waves in an area of effect in front of Armor Rouge. It deals damage and it hinders the enemies in that third area. The big thing with this ability is after using it, it fills up the boosted auto attack gauge for 3 seconds. And it won't decrease after using a boosted auto. Allowing Armor Rouge to do multiple boosted autos helps also increase damage to enemies. This also helps prolong the use of Fire Spin because the duration of Fire Spin increases by a second every time Armor Rouge hits an enemy with a boosted auto. So we see this moveset getting played a lot of the time together. Now let's talk about why this Pokemon came seemingly out of nowhere. Well, for the longest time in the West at least, teams often have shifted away from having double poke compositions, or compositions where there are 2 ranged damage dealers. Since Armor Rouge with the Fire Spin build thrives in up-close battling, this opened the door for this Pokemon to be selected. Armor Rouge is an incredibly safe pick. Even if picked early in the draft, Armor Rouge can flex into the central area or even in either the top or the bottom paths. We saw multiple trainers take this Pokemon for Luminosity Gaming. Not only their normal bot lane attacker Kyrios selected it, but we also saw Trainer take it into that central area. If the enemy also does not have a singular range damage dealer, Flame Charge can be selected, opposed to Psyshock for even more sustainability and firepower. The other part of it is the draft strategy has changed. The teams that drafted Armor Rouge knew its strengths and weaknesses. They knew that they would need to draft other Pokemon. Welcome back, trainers. We are back. Summer Series, first step, session number 4. It's the 4th session. Last session. Kind of sad. I'm kind of sad that it's ending, but We still have plenty of games tonight. We have 2 more sets. And this next set is going to be the Fuecoco's Frisbees and the Pikachu's Popsicles. And Hyde, you said that you got to watch some of the scrims earlier in this week. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we did. Oh my gosh. So Fuecoco's is the team to watch out for in this set because even during their scrims, when they were behind on points, they exhibited really strong Ray Pit control. They got power positions in the Rayquaza pit. They were able to capitalize on finding key targets and being able to lock them down and eliminate them and figure out what their win conditions are to get the Great Green Dragon himself. So if I was Pikachu Popsicles, I would opt to try to go for Ray control. Don't go for that bottom objective when it spawns in, even if you got a PowerPoint, because I'll tell you right now, Fuecoco's will be in that Ray pit looking for you on the ambush.
It's always a very sticky situation of, do we go for that last second base it Reggie to get those buffs, or do we go in for positioning? So very interesting call there for Fuecoco's Frisbees. Look for them to potentially just get set up an ambush. Pikachu's Popsicles, going in for this last little ban here, is going to be that Suicune. So usual suspects mostly up in that top part of your screen.
They must have saw the last set there because that Blissey made the ban. Oh my gosh, that Blissey was doing work with those eggs being able to come in. Breakfast with Blissey, as you said, that was great. But they're saying, no, we're going to look for more of a brunch angle with Snorlax.
Yeah, Snorlax, very common first pick. It's very safe. So you oftentimes see that Pokemon really just take that first slot. Like you see in the left corner of your screen, picked 64% of matches during Worlds weekend. A lot of that was kind of first pick because Snorlax can play into and with a lot of different compositions. So it's very consistent. You know exactly what you're getting. There's nothing too flashy about it, but it didn't quite have a great win rate. Something that is flashy and had a good win rate is that Ho-Oh, and that's going over to the Pikachu Popsicles.
Oh yeah, but Fuecoco's got to be figuring out something here that's going to pair with that Snorlax, because that Blazing and Comfey combo, they're like, listen, it doesn't matter if they can revive them again. If we can lock in with Blaze, one overheat, boom, eliminate. Oh, Unite comes in, boom, another overheat, and they're just taken care of.
Yeah, we saw that Blaziken work to perfection in the previous set, but this is a Pokemon I really like right now. It's that Armarouge. It's good into Brawly composition, so it's going to go well into that Snorlax. It'll do decently into that Blaziken. The thing that it will struggle with is going to be that Inteleon. If Inteleon can stay very safe in the back line, it's going to have a field day hitting those snipe shots on that Armarouge. And I'm looking at Pikachu's Popsicles. I don't see any speedster to help slow that thing down, so that's going to be the Pokemon for me that I am going to be very interested in to watch perform.
I think the Chandelure is going to be something to watch for on Pikachu Popsicles as well. It's not a very common pick. So even though it's not commonly picked, that also means that a lot of teams don't have a lot of experience fighting it as well. You get a nice Chandelure in your hands there. You got a nice incense that's going to affect how any of those Comfey heals are going to come through. And Chandelure is deceptively long range. Like it, I think this is going to be the pick there. And if that Talonflame isn't able to lock it down, this could be what gets the win for the Pikachu Popsicles.
I see the Buzzwole holding a score shield. Not one of the usual items that you see on a Buzzwole, but does tell me that Pikachu's Popsicles is going to try to get off to at least a little bit of a score lead. Maybe a little bit of early pressure, maybe some potential back caps towards the Rayquaza if they decide that they do not want to try to take Rayquaza off the map, because it's there's a lot of secure tools on the side of Fuecoco's Frisbee. You look at whether it's Blaziken, Inteleon, or even the Talonflame. But this is going to be game one. Fuecoco Frisbee on your left, Pikachu Popsicle on your right, and you're taking that Inteleon, currently a Sobble, down the bottom path.
They are, and we have a Blaziken Comfey into this top side here. This is going to be an interesting take since against Psyduck and Buzzwole. They're not going to be great on secures, but they're going straight for the scores. Nice secure on this Snorlax here, being able to capture that Bunnelby. But we do have the twins up here. Snorlax going to capitalize on that. Be like, listen, I don't mind that.
Man, yeah, that's a tough path right now for the Pikachu Popsicles. You see Snorlax and Inteleon both holding a lot of Eos energy, 11 and 12 respectively. And to me, that tells you that one thing, great secures, both with the water gun, but also great patience, because with how Inteleon has been nerfed in the early game, you're only able to hold on to one critical hit diamond at a time. Now that it's a Drizzile, it's going to have two, which should make these 850 birds relatively easy.
Something that Armor Rouge is going to need to take into account as teams are about to engage on these birds right here as they spawn in. Snorlax, Talonflame coming in. Armor Rouge getting a quick knockout on itself. Oh, Talonflame coming in with a nice knockout onto the Ho-Oh. We got a nice bird-on-bird action, but like I said, that range on that Chandelure is deceptive, but it wasn't enough to secure the KO as Drizzile grabs the final knockout. Huge points coming in for the Fuecoca Frisbees.
This is exactly what I was a little bit worried for this Armor Rouge. If it's not able to really brawl with the opponent, it's kind of going to get off to a slow start. And Inteleon already level 7, so those snipe shots are going to be coming out very quickly. But luckily for the Popsicles, they have taken advantage up in this top pass. Still a Torchic up in their top laner position.
I would not want to be that Torchic up against the level 7 Buzzwole. That thing is almost fully online. It's just missing its Unite move, but Talonflame comes in. Huge knockout with the Snorlax on the side deck. Brave Bird onto the Armor Rouge and a double onto the Chandelure. Ho-Oh soon falls now, and now Snorlax and Inteleon collapsing on pad, looking to get scores in. We had 6 points left on it. They're not looking for that early break yet.
I like leaving that goal zone upright because that's going to deprive a little bit of additional wild Pokemon from the side of the Pikachu's Popsicles. If they're able to take those 720 birds, that means that the next set of birds will spawn in that bottom path. So they could like to get those birds and then go ahead and break. That's going to allow a little bit cleaner of experience. And I like this play right there too.
Oh yeah, the Blaze Kicknap on those birds is always going to go well, especially when you coordinate it with that Talonflame Brave Bird. Inteleon's now scouting for any positions that he can find with the Snipe Shot. Armor Rouge coming with Fire Spin, looking for this engage onto this bottom Regieleki.
Ooh, good play here, pushing Buzzwole into a little bit of harm's way. Not only that, but they are going to award themselves with some scores, but positional advantage in the bottom path for the Popsicles. You have 4 members down here to just 2 for the Frisbees.
I think the plan here is to try to get Snorlax inside and open a pathway for the Snipe Shot, but it's not going to be enough. Ho-Oh with a nice body block as they collapse on the Inteleon, stuck inside that Fire Spin. This is what they were playing for. This is what they wanted to force Inteleon into that brawling position as they now rain points in and put themselves back into this game.
Yeah, I think if I'm the Frisbees there, I'd probably try to play a little bit more conservative because the ended up losing that level 9 Inteleon for almost nothing. You're probably not going to get that secure, but look at this huge fight here. Fuecoca's Frisbees coming up with a vengeance.
They are, but Pikachu's Popsicles is the one that's taking the lead. We have the Armor Rouge on the knockout. Buzzwole coming in, grabbing that Snorlax, flinging it around like a rag doll. But the nice block, get those shields up, allowing it for the disengage for Comfy to come in for the rescue.
Ooh, nice pull there from the Psyduck. Snorlax just getting their block off in time to give themselves a shield. That's just might be delaying the inevitable. No, great heals from the Comfey. Buzzwole trying to find a KO, unable to do so. Chandelure Unite move, try to get a KO on the Talonflame, but just a little bit short. And meanwhile, on the top path, Blaziken finding some back caps on that T2 goal zone.
Those stacks are going to be very important, especially when you go into a raid position. This is why they have such huge control into that pit there. They're able to get their stacks. They're able to be big and bad and powerful here. But we have a lot of pressure now coming in as both sides figure out which objectives they want to take in roughly 25 seconds.
Positioning going to be starting to head towards the top pass. Snipe Shot's going to try to find the back line. Big one there. Might have just missed a little bit, but it's going to connect on that Armor's. Armor's going to have to retreat.
Oh, there we go. That Snorlax trying to engage, but Psyduck, nice defensive maneuvers with that Surf. This is going to put Pikachu Popsicles in position for this bottom side Reggie. They are just going to pray it's not a Reggie Ice, I'll tell you that. Oh, we got Reggie Rock. That is awesome.
Yeah, gonna be defensive buffs for the next 90 seconds, but Fuecoco's Frisbees awarded the Regieleki for their efforts in that team fight. That's gonna allow them to maybe push on here. They know that the basement Reggie is starting to get chipped. Oh, they let it walk on in. This is gonna be an opportunity for the Frisbees to dunk some of their points in. T2 goal zones down.
Yeah, that position there is gone, but Ho-Oh's coming in with the Unite move. They're like, listen, we lost the pad, now we're going for the KOs. Let's get them. And then we will be good.
I did find a couple KOs on the return end, taking out the Talonflame. Not an easy task, especially when they are pocketed by that Comfey. So level 12 on that, so that's a massive KO. Blaziken might be getting caught between a rock and a hard place. Gonna try to retreat back. 4 members trying to hunt them down.
Yeah, that is always going to be rough there. They're getting chased by the Armor Rouge, which does get nice movement speed increase with the Fire Spin, but they're going to make it back.
Wow.
Fuecoco's Frisbee's like, listen, we don't want this. Just get out of here.
That's actually a great escape for that Blaziken. Definitely do not want to yield that EXP the other way, because right now you do have kind of a stranglehold of this match. 286, 143. Right now, Pikachu's Popsicles are going to need to capture what is left over of their wild Pokemon. And they are going to try to find maybe a pickoff or two here in the next maybe 45 seconds.
They're gathering in this top lane. Maybe they're going for the push here. Chandelure already low. Talonflame Unite coming in. That's a very late Unite. Maybe it'll have it back. Gets onto the Chandelure, though. Takes it out, and now it's just going to Brave Bird away. But Psyduck is now collapsing on it. We got that Surf coming in, but Blaziken with the nice defensive Blaze Kick.
Oh, Inteleon on the top side, able to find a KO on the Buzzwole. And Armor Rouge does close the job on that Talonflame. One thing to look out for as we start to near our final stretch, 30 seconds. It is Fuecoco's Frisbees in the driver's seat. There is a home walking Lecky potentially. If they're able to get this, that's going to yield them another potential win condition. And it does look like they should be able to take it off. Pikachu's Popsicle's going to have to defend. And Fuecoco's Frisbee is going to maybe play a little bit aggressive here.
They are. That Buzzwole is caught out. He is surrounded, but the Armor Rouge Psyduck comes in. Grabs a huge KO on the Blaziken. That is a massive timer right now. 15 seconds out. They can turn and go to Ray if they wanted. Rip that down. That's one secure gone with a body block ready to go onto the second one. Fuecoco Frisbees is now at a disadvantage within this Ray pit.
I think Ho-Oh probably just needs to let that walk, because I don't think anyone on Fuecoco's Frisbees will be able to get there. Huge Brave Bird connects on the Buzzwole. That's a massive KO, and Ho-Oh is starting to join the fray. I think this play is going to be a little bit slow. Look for the Brave Bird. Does not find it, but look at this engage.
Snorlax coming in with a nice behind on the block there. Nice. Has to get the power nap. Oh, Unite coming out early. Being able to revive the Buzzwole Psyduck. Revive the Fallen. Grabs the KO onto that Blaziken. Oh my goodness, here we go. Holo Flamethrower, they're on the Inteleon. Inteleon trying to escape, but Talonflame also low. Fuecoco Pikachu Popsicles is not letting up. But 1, 2, 3, 4, Talonflame with a triple KO. Reverse sweep going in onto this Great Green Dragon Rip.
They do not have an answer for this Talonflame. Buzzwole has to retreat, and Pikachu's Popsicles just gonna have to watch as they're able to take the Rayquaza. Good secures on that side, and another snipe shot. Deadly missiles here from James Pond.
But we saw a ban on the Raichu when it was oppressive and overpowered in the last set. We might see Inteleon get the same ban into the next game. Pikachu Popsicles is out of this match as Hundo Burgers reign in. So, when you're in a tournament setting like this, when you have 30 seconds left, take that time, talk your strategy out. What is Pikachu Popsicles going to bring in and pivot to for game number 2?
They need a speedster just to take out this Inteleon, because I don't think they got really touched very frequently by any of the damage dealers from the Popsicles. I think the only time I really saw that thing go down was when it was 2-on-4 and they were just trying to find a way to secure. Honestly, I think that might have been maybe not the right play in the moment. It wasn't obviously a big deal. They ended up obviously winning this game, but yeah, if you're Pikachu's Popsicles, you really need to find some way to slow down this range. And when your range damage dealer does not outrange the enemy's range damage dealer, so talking about that Chandelure, it's going to be a tough battle because Inteleon works really well into the brawly composition of that Armarouge and the Buzzwole and the Ho-Oh and the Psyduck. So you just need to find something, maybe switch out from the Chandelure, maybe grab an Absol, maybe a Leafeon could have performed quite well too. I think there's just a lot of options that might have been on the table for them.
Oh, for sure. And as we come in here, we got that Talonflame dominated 15 KOs, being able to get 8 onto that 235 points scored. My gosh, that was the oppressor right there. When you come into the damage, oh my goodness, look at those numbers. 111, 114. They didn't even need the Blaziken. Blaziken sitting at 29. He's like, but bro, I did my job. I enabled my team.
Yeah, I mean,
Blaziken the enabler.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you really just need to know what your win conditions are. Obviously, Blaziken did get off to a slightly slow start, but it did find some, I guess, momentum near the midway part of the map. And what Blaziken does offer is a lot of off laning. So you saw it oftentimes just kind of holding a lane by itself, taking through objectives by itself. So it is kind of the benefit of having a Pokemon that not only can rip, but also can secure. Obviously didn't have the best game, but when you have the Talonflame along with the great engages by Pimsky and then those snipe shots that we talked about in the pregame, that was really, really well performed here by Fuecoco.
Yeah, but that Ho had some really good Unite moves too coming into there. That Ho is always going to be a pain in the tuchus to deal with because let me tell you, like we knew what we wanted to lock in on Fuecoco's. They locked in that Snorlax first. They said, Ho-Oh? Who's that? I don't even know who Ho-Oh is.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm like kind of like weird on Snorlax because since it's got nerfed, it definitely has some inconsistent performances when it comes to win rate. 41%, yes, it's picked a lot. So you have like a pretty decent sample size. It's not the best, but when it looks good, it looks great. That's what I've been kind of finding over the last like couple weeks with this new look Snorlax, I guess. So not always a great first pick right now, but it at least allows you to pick some more consistent things, which you saw in game 1.
Yes, for sure. And when we saw that Comfey as well, Comfey was the enabler. Was another enabler here to allow the Blaziken to come online, be able to do its things. So supports are also just as strong. And again, like you mentioned that Crustle, I really want to see a Crustle this game. I want to see a Crustle tonight at some point. I would love it. I'm a Crustle fan, so that would be interesting to see.
I'm also a big Crustle fan. It's one of my most played Pokemon. I haven't played it like a ton in the more recent seasons, but year 1, I loved playing that Pokemon. X-Scissor is always super fun to be kind of like this disruptor. But we're getting some of the bands, Charizard, Blissey, Latios, and then a Ghost type, I assume, because there's no Pokemon in that second slot for the Popsicles.
I mean, that is the most powerful pick you can make right there. It's the only one you can ban out 4 times if you really put your mind to it.
True. Taking a look to see what we might have for a first pick from them. Obviously, Suicune's still on the table, so I think that is quite a powerful first pick. You can slot it in almost any way. You could slot it as kind of a bottom path attacker. You could slot it in as a support. You can slot it in your tank. There's so many ways to play it, so it's so safe. So when it's up there for the first pick, just go for it.
Absolutely. And when we see that Snorlax getting locked in for Fuecoco once more, this is going to leave Ho-Oh up for Pikachu's Popsicles. We have that Serena locked in. That is going to be a powerful partner for whoever is the supporter up top. But they have to be smart with it because it's going to be really struggling to get its stacks and to get that level 6 to come online.
It does. It's almost a very you're kind of putting your team at a little bit of a disadvantageous position in that top path because, like you said, it does take quite a while to get online. It does have an okay secure early on, but it's not the best. So you're going to try to support it with maybe something early game. I would love to see a speedster pick here for Fuecoco. I think Leafeon would be kind of that perfect one. So you could take Leafeon, come up for like an early level 4 gang to help that Serena in the top path. I think that would work really well, but something that we saw a lot at Worlds was this Galarian Rapidash.
Oh, Rapidash is a nice dissuader as well. So this pick here, when you got 2 picks going in on the Pikachu's Popsicles, one of the things that you're going to look at is picking range. Rapidash is a way to dissuade any decent, like any oppressive range that doesn't have a lot of mobility, because Rapidash is able to smart strike into the back, stun it, being able to dazzling gleam, and with its ability, being able to make it immune to flux zones, slowing, it's going to be able to do hit and run tactics until you are gone.
Yeah, last pick is going to be the Mew for Fuecoco's Frisbees. I like this pick because it is gonna, you need something to kind of like hit the Suicune from range. And I think it's also really good because it is quite mobile. So you should be able to not only dodge some of the damage from the Talonflame. So I do really like it. And I think with the buffs that it received relatively recently, I think the damage is a little bit more on par with some of the other attacker picks. So I do like this one in that gutter position.
Yeah, but Aegislash is no slouch either. It is going to be able to use Wide Guard to be able to put that Serena at a disadvantage, even with the full heal, being able to knock it up and bounce it back to gain some stacks coming in. But they grab the Ho-Oh as well. They're going full tank on their main core here, being like, listen, even if we go down, we're fine because we got the revive.
I mean, Ho-Oh, like we saw time and time again in various tournaments, does have a pretty good win rate, but I do like this pivot for the Fuecoco's Frisbees because not only do you have the Ho-Oh, but you have a true frontliner in that Snorlax to make those big engages. So Snorlax can really start the party with some, heavy slam or a nice block play, but Ho-Oh doesn't have to be that main engage point. This is going to be game number 2. Fuecoco Frisbees up 1-0.
Exactly. Pikachu Popsicles, your purple team. Fuecoco Frisbees, your orange team, as our teams now enter their lanes and start making their way up by capturing their initial bunnies.
Ho-Oh in the top path, still holding that EXP share, going to support this Serena. You want to get that level 6 as soon as possible, so I love that play. Snorlax frozen solid, and that allows that Pikachu to get that last hit. That's a massive start here to deprive that Snorlax from those last hits that it's performed so well at this day.
Yeah, it's got great secure with the tackle. It's got great engage with the heavy slam. But one thing it does not have with either of those moves is unstoppable. Being able to make it being shut down in its path there. And with 2 freezes on the side of Pikachu Popsicles, that might be the way that they need to shut down that Snorlax.
Snorlax going to take a quick little nap. 850 birds going to be in both sets of paths. It's the Galarian Rapidash heading towards the top, and you see that that tall grass where the Fletchinder is hiding as well. They don't want to give up too much positioning. It's going to be a 3-on-3 here.
There we go. Nice engage with the tackle there with the Dazzling Gleam followed suit. But it looks like they are prioritizing the farm there. The Steenie goes down, but Galarian Rapidash is not having it as they disengage and to re-engage on the Talonflame.
That's really what you want there if you're that Galarian Rapidash. I'm surprised to see that it's not going for the invade, knowing that they found the KO on that Fletchinder. I would have really liked to see that. It could have been like them putting a little bit more pressure on the enemy side. And kind of slowing down that level 7 and maybe give you a little bit more space for that Steenie as well, because you could have even potentially gone for the invade and then even allowed the Steenie to take the central area of your own to ensure that you get that level 6.
But here we go. We have the Aegislash coming in as Doublade, trying to get on the Ho-Oh with a fire on the pad, being like, listen, I'm okay, but the Midbirds are up. They are gone now as Talonflame is going to go bye-bye back to the Pokemon Center as Rapidash cleans up the Swablues.
No Butterfree, but they definitely said bye-bye. A nice little play here is going to take out the Suicune. Doublade saw the fate of its fallen brother and realized that they probably should be going back to pad because this Galarian Rapidash is already level 7. Make it level 8. It's going to stun that Doublade.
And there it goes. It goes down, but now they turn towards the scores into the top lane to fight that Suicune. Without their Snorlax on the engage, they are going to be defending bottom side, but Suicune doing whatever it can to stay up on this pad, to stop these scores. And it's going to do that relatively successfully because we got 30 and 30 and 30, which means Suicune's going to be able to stop it. But in this bottom lane, we're not going to be able to stop any of this score coming in, Kyle.
Ooh, Ooh, good dodge there from the Mew. Not only getting away from the Talonflame, but getting a berry and a little bit more to safety. But look at that. It is at 1 HP. So, I mean, that Pikachu Popsicles can potentially set up for a massive overcap. But we have a Unite move from the Rapidash.
Rapidash is being like, listen, Angel Slash, you got to go. We got points to score. Objectives are up. We got places to be.
Ooh, right. And Regieleki is going to get awarded to the Frisbees as well. So 3 members up there, as well as a T1 goal zone down. Means that they should be able to take that no problem. In the basement path, it's going a little bit slower. Basement Reggie is up. I believe I saw it was a Registeel. So you're going to probably see Fuecoco's Frisbees start to migrate south for this objective. Pikachu, along with Piloswine, still there. Nice little Brave Bird, but it's going to get caught by the Mew.
Oh, Mew had an opportunity, but they pulled back there to allow the Talonflame to escape, but that's okay. They're engaging now. Rapidash on top of this Talonflame here. Mew with a nice basic boosted as we come in. Huge Solar Beam coming in. There goes the Piloswine, the first victim of this fight. But huge Pikachu Unite coming through here onto the Volt Tackle, onto it, but Snorlax making it out with 1 HP and a Drain. Serena Unite being able to collapse, grab Pikachu, pushing this pad. It's just Suicune, one dream, all alone, being able to defend this pad.
Well, I don't think Serena needed to do that to the Pikachu to take them out, but they surely did. So made a very quick work of the mascot Pokemon. But Registeel very contested here. Brave Bird's going to do the trick for the Pikachu's Popsicle. So that is a massive play for them.
Did you see that block there, Kyle? They were so mean. They locked up 2 people against that wall, pushing them up, making it so they couldn't do anything. And Fuecoco's doing a great job being able to collapse on it. There it is once more. Oh, that is so mean.
Win the battle, lose the war for Pikachu's Popsicles. They got that Registeel buff, but they yield back a ton of KOs. Although, I like this play from Aegislash, so they are depriving a little bit of wild Pokemon experience from Fuecoco's Frisbees' own central area, and they're also going to attack this Ho-Oh. Oh, just going to have to retreat, because I don't think they really want to 1v1 it. Probably have to wait for probably that Galarian Rapidash.
Went in, they got caught, and they're about to get got here as they coming down here with this Rapidash, diving in with the Smart Strike, dazzling Gleam combo. Regieleki is up, Fuecoco is going for it. Mamoswine aiming to get vision to try to see if there's any potential play to be made here.
Just gonna look for an Earthquake. Oh, and they get it. What an incredible play here from the Mamoswine. Serena gonna pay a little bit of exception, try to take down that Suicune, but great teamwork from the Popsicles to take down Serena.
They have good collapse indeed. Now there's Ho-Oh. Ho-Oh's getting surrounded. Mamoswine diving onto it. Ho-Oh, Pikachu with the Volt Tackle coming through. Ho-Oh has to retreat. Regieleki going to crash and allowing a huge overcap, pulling Pikachu's Popsicles exactly 20 points under.
Ooh, that might have been a little bit of mismath there from the Popsicles. I think maybe either they thought that they could potentially get the caps in before Regieleki landed, although they left maybe 20 points on the board there. We'll see if that makes any difference, but we have a Unite move from the Galarian Rapidash already.
Mamoswine locked in, not able to get out and do his job as the tank. That's one down for the Pikachu there as Fuecoco's Frisbees collapses on Mamoswine, locks out the Suicune with huge Solar Beam. Oh, and a boosted from the Snorlax to secure the KO and pay for Suicune's trip back to the Pokemon Center.
Pretty close game right now, 20 points separating the two, but a Regice going to be on the menu for the Frisbees. They do have full position of this, so they should make pretty quick work of it, although I don't know, this Aegislash might be doing some work. Oh, good play there by the Mew. Boosted Electro Ball is going to do the trick.
They are, but here we go for the engage. Snorlax getting caught, then gone by the Pikachu. Pikachu Popsicles is going to be taking a nice position now, and they're going to be removing themselves from the disengage. They're like, listen, we don't need to push this. We don't need this. 30 seconds till Rayquaza there. Kyle, how do you think this is going to play out?
There's a lot of things at play here, but I think the key is going to be who this Ho-Oh revives. I think you have a lot of engage from the Frisbees, whether it's Pimsky on that Snorlax, you have that Galarian Rapidash that has been finding that backline very frequently, oftentimes attacking that Pikachu or the Suicune. So if we're able to get a nice engage on those, maybe find 1 or 2 KOs, and even if you go down, if you do a lot of damage, I think the Mew should be able to follow up. But I think the key, again, is going to be who Ho-Oh revives if they're able to get that off in time. But I think this is going to go quite well. Already getting engaged on.
There's the engage there. Yes, exactly. Oh, huge Unite from the Rapidash onto the Pikachu, but Pikachu says, listen, you're in my territory now. Comes in. There's the Ho-Oh revival on the Rapidash. Not getting the Serena, though. Pikachu is down as we come through. Aegis / Unite, but nice shield coming back in time for the Rapidash. Not enough as it goes down. 1, 2, 3 for Fuecoco's taken down. It's just Mew. It's just Ho-Oh down now. Oh, as the Rayquaza gets his own KO on the Talonflame.
I mean, Dragon on flying, that's a little bit of a rough look there. Mew does have an opportunity to potentially secure it. Probably going to have to try to get on E-Ball, but very low HP bars. Oh, the Solar Beam connects!
But they're ripping it. Pikachu has to be smart about this. They have the Electro Ball to come in. It's on cooldown. No, this could be it, though. Coming through, Pikachu, come on! Oh, there it is! The secure on the Dragon!
No way. I thought that Electro Ball was going to be too far. I want to say that that might have been chasing the Galarian Rapidash and some splash damage did the trick. Very unfortunate. I don't think Mew on the Fuecoco Frisbee side had their Electro Ball up, but this game's not over. Suicune going to need to find a way to a goal zone. Pikachu heading that way as well. I believe they do not have a shield though.
They do not. Suicune's got to be smart about this. They're putting it down. There it is. Ooh. Huge Hundo Burger coming in. 274 to 194. 20 seconds left. All they got to do is defend, and they win. But they're keeping the aggression on. They know that they do one Hundo Burger coming in, but that could be, and that's going to be it. Oh, nice stoppage on that Talon Unite as we come in. 5, 4, 3, 30 from the Suicune. Oh, and we have 68 coming in from the Rapidash.
Not going to be enough for Fuecoco's Frisbee. So Pikachu's Popsicles, the mascot of the franchise, the mascot of the team, finding the clutchest of moments, hitting that E-Ball splash damage to take out Rayquaza. Insane work from this squad, and that is going to even up the series. So we do not have a 2-0, we have a 1-1, and an incredible play. Great prowess, I would say, from this squad.
Oh, absolutely. This is a fire set. This is so exciting. It was back and forth. They were finding opportunities against each other. Pikachu coming in on the top with the most damage in the game as well. 66K for an E-Ball Volt Tackle variant, with Mew following up with 65. Not the two Pokemon you'd suspect to have the most damage in this game.
I mean, Mew, yeah, look at that, 65K from Skeleton Pie. Not only that, but also dishing out, are only taking 28. So that Pokemon was incredible all throughout the game. Just very unfortunate that it wasn't able to get that last hit. And you just got to feel very accomplished if you're Pikachu, because probably just saved the game in the series for them to even it up. So very, very good plays. Very good. That might have been our closest game of the night, and probably my favorite one. Probably the most hype. So yeah, I liked the back and forth. This was a very, very evenly matched game.
Oh, for sure. I'm excited to see what the next set's going to bring in here. We have quite a bit of time until we get that, I believe, though. So we have lots to go on. But Suicune coming in with 56K, not the type of damage you'd see on it. Most Suicunes that are picked with XP share usually coming in with more utility than anything else.
I'm like, I like this, yeah. Suicune, it's one of my favorite Pokemon to play right now. Mostly because it's good. No other reason, honestly, if I'm just speaking my truth. But yeah, you could dish out a lot of damage. It's easy to like play from like a safe distance. There's a lot of stuns with it. Like, it's very frustrating to deal with. So when it's on the table, I'm pretty much like, all right, someone's got to play it. It's probably going to be me. It's very versatile. You could play it as a damage carry. You could play it as a supportive, more of a supportive Pokemon. The only thing that I've always been confused with is why it's classified as an all-rounder, because all-rounders typically have been like more like bruiser focused, but either way, very fun Pokemon to play. Very not fun to play against.
No, I see a Suicune there, and I'm like,
Yeah.
Ooh, but it looks like we got another giveaway to do, Kyle.
Yeah,
Ooh, lead us into this.
We got another giveaway. We got one more Latias license and one more coin pack. So let's go ahead and do our little wheel spin again. Thank you, Pokemon, for providing the codes for us to give away to our participants. Hopefully more to come in the future. But let's see who gets the prize. This is for the Suicune. Or not the Suicune, the Latias. We were just talking about Suicune. Storm Silver 777. Alrighty.
Ooh, congratulations, Storm Silver. You got a Latios coming your way.
Latias.
Oh, Latias! Oh, even better!
The newer one.
The new one!
The new shiny thing that just got buffed. And then Wispy TX with the coin pack. All right.
That's not a Latias, but that is 4K coins coming your way. That is something you could use to buy any of the new Pokemon coming up.
Yeah, after the week when they do the thing.
Yeah, after the week.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 to 3 week hiatus if they give it a pass.
Yeah, if they give it one of those free things. I you know, I have mixed feelings on it. I like when they give it for free, but then it's like if you don't want to do all the stuff, I don't know. I have mixed feelings. But either way, we are going to take a quick break, so don't go too far, folks. We'll have the last set very, very soon. While we get set up, we'll take that break, so grab a drink, grab a snack, use the restroom, whatever you need to do, but we'll be back very, very soon. This unexpected pick just rewrote the meta. It stole the show from the usual S-tier attacker picks. What happened this past weekend at one of the largest Pokémon Unite tournaments shocked many people, but it was unsurprising to those people that love playing it. In this video, I am going to break down why this Pokémon, despite being nearly completely absent from competitive play in the last few months, is now scorching the competition. I'm talking about the one and only Armarouge. For those new here, I am Steel Agent Kyle. I'm a Pokémon Unite caster. Featured on the Unite Championship Series broadcasts, I'm a Pokémon Unite community ambassador, and I also host Underdunk, a bi-weekly grassroots tournament on my Twitch. If you like these types of meta and tournament breakdowns, I would love if you gave this video a like. Well, let's get back into it. The final stretch at the North America International Championships was one of the largest tournaments in the competitive Pokemon Unite season. Played live in New Orleans at the Pokemon North America International Championships, it featured 24 in-person teams, 6 of which were given travel awards to play in it based on them winning the open qualifiers. 6 of the teams playing had also already qualified for Worlds, but there were some notable teams, even 2 that were even given that travel award, that had not punched their ticket to the World Championship Series. This tournament featured a large prize pool and was to award the final Worlds invitation to the team that placed the highest that had not already qualified through the regional bracket. Needless to say, the stakes were very high and the stove was hot. Most analysts predicted that we'd see probably a handful of attackers, Inteleon, Mewtwo Y, Mew, a Miraidon or 2, and maybe even some Espeon. However, what happened at the final stretch shocked a lot of people. Armarouge was picked in nearly 25% of matches and had a near 90% win rate to support that. A 25% play rate was not super notable, not even the highest or even in the top 10 overall most picked, but what was really shocking about this is even in the most recent tournament, the regional finals, Armarouge was not even in the top 10 attackers played in the tournament and wasn't selected a single time within the top 8 bracket for North America. It started receiving a little bit of traction in a couple of grassroots tournaments leading up to the final stretch at NAIC, but nothing too major. You would think that with the spike in play and win rate that it must have received a buff to its kit recently. That is not the case. Armarouge has not had an update to its kit since December, when its Unite move, Psychoboom, was edited to allow it to just be moved during its cast. There was not even any sort of damage increase to it. Outside of that, it's essentially been untouched the entire Unite Championship Series season. So what was it that made this Pokemon so good? Why was it even earning a couple bans in this tournament? And with the 88% win rate, that made it the highest win rate Pokemon in the tournament, potentially of all time in one of these tournaments. The third highest picked attacker, and it was also the 16th most picked Pokemon overall. So how did this Pokemon perform? In the semifinals of the tournament versus Peru Unite, who was the LATAM South Regional Champion and the representative for the tournament of that region, Luminosity Gaming picked it all 3 matches, and they won their set 3-0. Then in the grand finals between Luminosity Gaming and Revelation, it had a 100% encounter rate and a 100% win rate. LG picked it in game 1 and won 742 to 92. Revelation then picked it in game number 2 and won a nail biter 457 to 295. LG then in game number 3, they won a blowout, 1,231 to 11, potentially one of the biggest blowouts in UCS history. Finally, in game number 4, Revelation had enough and went ahead and banned it. In the grand finals, this Pokemon was represented in all 4 games. Let's talk about the build. So the players used a little bit of a mix of builds. Most often, it was equipping Full Heal as the battle item to help avoid hindrances and crowd controls. A lot of the times, the held items were Slick Spoon, Cursed Incense, and surprise, surprise, Rocky Helmet. However, some trainers substituted Slick Spoon for more sustainability with a focus band. We even saw some trainers sub out the Rocky Helmet for even more damage, self-sustain, along with a little bit of cooldown with a Shell Bell. For abilities, Fire Spin was selected at level 5 and Psyshock was mostly selected at level 7. Fire Spin is an area of effect ability which cloaks Armarouge and Fire. It deals damage to Pokemon within that area, and it also gives Armarouge a shield that can stack up to 6 times. It also gives a 20% movement speed increase while the Vortex is active. This ability tends to help Armarouge self-sustain in long team fights and gives it quite a big punch. Psyshock was the second ability that was mostly favored by the squads. Since you're playing with Fire Spin mostly, you're primarily limited to fighting within a small vortex. Psyshock gives a little bit of additional utility for Armarouge. What Psyshock does is it sends out 3 waves in an area of effect in front of Armarouge. It deals damage and hinders the enemies in that third area. The big thing with this ability is after using it, it fills up the boosted auto attack gauge for 3 seconds. And it won't decrease after using a boosted auto. Allowing Armarouge to do multiple boosted autos helps also increase damage to enemies. This also helps prolong the use of Fire Spin because the duration of Fire Spin increases by a second every time Armarouge hits an enemy with a boosted auto. So we see this moveset getting played a lot of the time together. Now let's talk about why this Pokemon came seemingly out of nowhere. Well, for the longest time, in the West at least, teams often have shifted away from having double poke compositions, or compositions where there are 2 ranged damage dealers. Since Armarouge with the Fire Spin build thrives in up-close battling, this opened the door for this Pokemon to be selected. Armarouge is an incredibly safe pick. Even if picked early in the draft, Armarouge can flex into the central area or even in either the top or the bottom paths. We saw multiple trainers take this Pokemon for Luminosity Gaming. Not only their normal bot lane attacker Kyrios selected it, but we also saw Trainer take it into that central area. If the enemy also does not have a singular range damage dealer, Flame Charge can be selected, opposed to Psyshock for even more sustainability and firepower. The other part of it is the draft strategy has changed. The teams that drafted Armarouge knew its strengths and weaknesses. They knew that they would need to draft other Pokemon that would fill the gaps in its blind spots. Seemingly, if the enemy team did take a couple other attackers, they can either choose to find a range damage dealer of their own or potentially go with some speedsters to take down that backline. The buffs to Rocky Helmet were also pivotal in this Pokemon's presence. In the second part of the Breath of Evolution patch, which was released right after regionals in mid-May. Welcome back in, trainers. Final round, S'more Schwatz. And every time I cast this, I say it wrong or I stumble over my words because it's kind of a tongue twister. S'more Shawats. I kept saying like Schmore Sharat. Yeah, see, I can't even do that. S'more Shawats and the Tubing Turtwigs. This is the last round. 2 more games, and then we'll kind of call it a night. But any surprises as far as the meta goes here, Hyde?
Uh, yeah. I mean, so we've seen Armor Rouge dominating, actually. Like, we've seen Armor Rouge come in a little bit in Worlds and whatnot. You see it on Ladder every time, and it does well there. But in these sets so far, in the last 2 sets, we have seen Armor Rouge come in and just do a lot of heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Armor Rouge, very, very strong in its own regard. Does struggle into a lot of range damage dealers, but with not too many of them in a lot of Pokemon. Or I guess not a lot of compositions currently. Obviously, there's a few here and there. I mean, obviously, Inteleon, it's kind of hard to deny that Pokemon's presence despite some of the nerfs. Mew, we saw in some recent games. But outside of those Pokemon, there's not a lot of common picks. And it does quite well into a lot of brawly compositions, which seems to be the meta currently. Especially a lot of all-rounders, a lot of defenders, and yep. Not as many speedsters as maybe a few months ago, but definitely still pretty prevalent. But I think we are getting ready for the draft. S'more Shawats and the Tubing Turtwigs. Have you had a chance to watch either of these teams in scrims, or was it just the?
I have not. It was just Fennekin's, Totodiles, and Fuecoco's. I have no idea what's coming in, so we are getting ready to be surprised.
I like surprises.
If I don't see a Sableye, I'm going to be very upset, guys. I want to see Sableye.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Sableye. We haven't. Or did we see a Sableye at all today? I'm trying to think. I know we definitely saw a bunch of Sableyes on Thursday during Underdunk, but I can't remember seeing any Sableyes tonight.
No Sableyes tonight. I've been keeping track. No Sableyes, no T-Tars, no Goal Getter Duraludons. I'm a little disappointed.
No Goal Getter Duraludon. It's crazy. I do not want to see a Goal Getter Duraludon in my lobby. Please. Oh, please no. Please no Goal Getter Duraludon. Don't give the people ideas. Bina, ban this man.
Oh no. Well, bye, chat. But oh my gosh, yeah, no. I love score comp. That's something we haven't seen a whole lot of either, is score comp. I mean, when you think about it, the game's about scoring points. That's how you win. So when I'm Sableye, I score points, getting vision. Yeah, I'm not KO'd. I'm not being useless. I'm just getting vision.
Yeah.
That's all every Sableye player does.
Vision, one of the most important things in the game, because it gives you potential positional advantage. You have a lot of intelligent information that you can get from it to utilize, like maybe your poke to poke and prod some of that tall grass area where you can't see things. But I don't know. I do like Sableye. Obviously, it's very prevalent in competitive play, so maybe we'll see some. I'm looking forward to it, but let's look forward to these bans first. Originally, the first ban is going to be that Suicune, followed quickly by the airplane, the Latios.
The Latios, the aeroplane, the Arios. We do have Charizard coming in now as the second ban for the Schmorshawats. Coming, that is, we haven't seen Charizard tonight, but no teams are letting it through. They're like, listen, there's a reason it's gone, and we're not having it out. But Ho-Oh going to round out our fourth ban.
Ho-Oh, I mean, its presence is greatly felt in any game that it makes it through the draft or the ban phase. So very smart to ban it out. It's just a tough Pokemon to deal with. But that does open up a few different options here for both of these squads. S'more Shawats setting up with that often first picked Pokemon, that Snorlax. Again, very, very, very safe first pick. Tubing Turtwig is going to combat that with that Umbreon along with the Mew.
Oh yeah, Umbreon, Mew, they're going to be a deadly combo right there. Mew is already going to be able to snipe out, stun with the Surf. Umbreon's going to be able to lock in and counter that Snorlax a little bit with its Unite move. Not going to be able to steal the full shields, but it is going to steal at least half of them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Umbreon nerfed in a couple, was it about a month and a half ago at this point? right before Alchemy came out. I believe that was likely why it was nerfed a little bit. Didn't want to, steal all of those Alchemy shields, especially when it's stationary. But look at this, a 2-year-old demon composition of the Zacian Comfey. Not nearly as strong as when it was first released, but with the right pilot, it could still be very, very dangerous.
I mean, if you're ever in a 1v1 scenario against either the Scizor or the Serena here, having a Comfey with your Zacian is always going to be a nice upper hand. But that Comfey might not just be paired with the Zacian, as we have Martine locking in Zoroark.
Oh, scary. This Comfey collar has a lot of options to go to. Well, I guess maybe two very specific options to go to. The Zoroark, a very likely home in maybe that early game, and Zacian likely in that first pathing phase. It's going to be very tough to deal with, but I do like that we have the Pikachu on the side of the Smorshawats because it is another option to kind of lock down that Zoroark with that Volt Tackle.
Yeah, for sure, but we do have that Scizor locked in, and it's got that full heal. It's got me wondering, is this really a Scizor, or is this going to be a Scyther? That's the one thing you can never tell when somebody locks in a Pokemon like this. Which is it that they're going to end up being when they hit that level 5?
It'll likely be a Scyther. I can't imagine that we'll see a Scizor, but I mean, crazier things have happened. I think Scyther very strong into other speedsters. You saw Scizor often getting played that way. But you do have to hit your skill shots. Dual Wing not necessarily the easiest thing to hit, and if you miss it, you're kind of in no man's land. But this is going to be game number 1 between the Smorshawats on your purple side and the Tubing Turtwigs on your orange side. We'll see which way some of these Pokemon head, and I believe we'll likely see that Scyther head to the central area. No, Serena.
Serena going into the central area. They're like, listen, we saw what happened in the last set. Serena got set back a little bit behind. Maybe they experienced it in their own scrims, but they're like, not anymore. They're going to send it out and try to get that level 6 as soon as possible. Snorlax with a nice engage here on that farm, being able to capture it, but Espeon with the secure.
Oh, you're seeing the early game demon that is the Zacian, and seeing why people play this Pokemon still, because that attack stat is still quite powerful. It does have good chase down potential early on as well. So liking this pick early on so far.
Yeah, even the only difference between then and now is the loss of the EX status. Being able to come in, pulling it down to more on par. But even though it's on par, look at that points. 18 points on Zacian. That's a lot of points to use for its ability.
And they're going to get some stacks for their good deeds. So 29 points for the Smorshawats on the basement side. But look at this Zoroark hovering in that tall grass looking for an engage.
Here we go. Nice engage from the Metal Claw there on the Zacian here. Being able to take down that Pikachu. Zoroark is going to be able to pivot for an invade as it chases down this Steenie.
That's exactly what you want to do when you win a path. Look to push that advantage and maybe starve out some experience from the opposite side. And especially since it's still a Steenie and you are a Zoroark, that is 1000% the right play. Especially when you have a Comfey collar maybe pocketing you along the way.
And there we go. The Zacian is all alone without its own Comfey collar, but it's on the Scyther. Takes out the Pikachu. Didn't need it. It just says, listen, I'm good to go. Snorlax with a nice, what do you call it there? Heavy slam. Being able to miss it, unfortunately, but Serena gets the red buff from the Excavalier and being able to come online at level 6.
8-minute Altaria family in the central area. No positioning for Smorshawat, so they're going to have to yield all of that experience over to the Turtwigs, who've already have 2 level 7s. Both the Zacian and the Zoroark are finding their way into this mid-game.
Huge engage from the Zoroark as it comes back to grab the sleeping Snorlax, send him back to the Pokemon side. He doesn't even know I hit him. Comes in, grabs the double knockout on the Espeon as well. Being able to rein in points now for the side of the Tubing Turtwigs.
perhaps a little bit of an early break there for the Turtwigs, but I think this is them trying to like impose their will onto the Smorshwats, and I don't think that you'll see Martine really slow down anytime soon. They have 2 levels on the enemy central area Pokemon of that Serena, and you have that Comfey Collar, so really look for them to kind of keep up and keep pressuring that central area of the Smorshwats.
And that's exactly what they're doing. Pressure coming in. Snorlax being able to jump on top of it, but it's not going to be enough. Scyther collapsing on the Zoroark, chasing it down, but that's a level 9 Zoroark. You're only level 6 Scyther. Pikachu, nice lockdown with the Volt Tackle. Zoroark is locked in. There it goes. Huge experience coming back to the side of the Smorshwats.
That is massive for the Smorshwats, especially considering it was a level 9 Zoroark, but it took 4 Pokemon to do that job. It does mean that there is still a basement Reggie that the Tubing Turtwigs go ahead and earn for themselves, but they aren't done here on this T1 pad.
They are not indeed. They kidnapped that Umbreon. They're going to take that down. Oh, they got the Zoroark caught out without the Comfey. Comfey Unite coming in, though. But without the engage, Zacian is going to take advantage. The eject off that Espeon to survive. Clutch out for that moment.
They do survive the moment. Regieleki still hovering in that top pad. Both teams heavily interested, but they are going to take this 550 Altaria family first, but Mew is going to be the first to fall.
Scyther is on the back foot. He is retreating. Zoroark says, "Nah, we're getting you now." Here we come. Umbreon diving in, pulling the Pikachu back as Zacian now collapses onto the Regieleki, hoping to convert them to the Tubing Turtwig way.
Umbreon retreating back to pad, mostly just to get some HP refresh because they were dangerously low. The Zoroark trying to go on in, but the Queen takes her out. Zoroark down. Zacian able to secure that Regieleki. Pressure forward. Gonna be able to take out that Cerritos. A little bit of revenge for the fallen brethren. Regieleki trying to find his home into that T1. Good defense so far, but Zacian looking for a way in. Gonna try to go on in. Still looking to engage, but Scyther pops their Unite move, but they go down for it.
Huge points coming in. That Regieleki is gone. Zacian spending too much time fighting, not enough time scoring. Guys, got to remember, you got to score those points to win it. But they're still ahead with huge 148-49. As Zoroark collapses now, trying to get out, and 1 HP in a dream. Comfey stays with the Mew to allow for the disengage.
Yeah, I think Zoroark just getting out as fast as they could, so Comfey unfortunately unable to attach to them. But 3 members are going to help converge on the Mew, take them out as well as the Comfey Collar. Zoroark was looking to allow Comfey to reattach, but unable to be successful in that mission. Now, Basement Reggie is going to be a Reggie Ice, hiding in the tall grass. Zacian along with the Umbreon, looking for an ambush.
Ambush they got. They're on top of that. Serena doing everything she can to stay alive and well, but it's not going to be enough. She dove too deep. Zoroark picks it up. Scyther goes down. Espeon Unite coming in, but that might have just been a burn to survive as Mew takes that final KO on it, and they collapse on the Snorlax. Pikachu Unite coming in. Oh my goodness. Here we go. One last time for the final Pokemon on the side of the Smorshwats being taken out.
Unfortunate for the Pikachu, they were unable to find any KOs on the other side, but Scyther, at least a little bit more fortunate. They do find that Umbreon, but that was all that they get for that Unite move. Zoroark gonna find that Espeon as well, and that level 12 Zoroark at the Comfey Collar, also gonna look for a 35 cheeky cap, unable to do so. Good response from that Serena as we near the 330 mark.
Zacian now ripping these Altarias in the Swablu, or the Altaria and the Swablu's there. We have Snorlax getting vision, keeping an eye on where things are. Zoroark completely surrounded. They're going to be up. Are they going to be able to get the pick? They are. Serena Unite very late though. Will it have it with the Comfey Unite too? Oh no! We have Unite move after Unite move coming out here from the Tubing Turtwigs. This is going to affect their Rayquaza position indeed.
Man, this is a good play here for the Smorshwats. They've found a couple of very critical KOs. They might be looking for another one. Good play there from the Zacian to dodge the Snorlax block, but might just be delaying the inevitable Unite move used from the Espeon that's going to send Zacian packing. Zoroark going to use their Unite move, but they're still going down. The Smorshwats has found second life.
We are 26 seconds away from the Rayquaza now, Kyle. Oh my gosh, look at How many Unite moves were burned? Espeon, Serena, and Pikachu, all without Unite moves as we move into Rayquaza.
Yeah, Espeon, like you said, not going to have it. That's going to be a very big one, especially to combat that Zoroark that's going to try to find that back line. But right now, it is a very close game. You do have a T1 goal zone up for the Tubing Turtwig, so Smorshwats could potentially take the lead with a nice, cheeky, safe cap on that T1. So Tubing Turtwig's likely going to set up through this bottom part. Snorlax's going to pin this Umbreon, though.
Nasty, nasty pins. We've seen Snorlax do this before, and it was absolutely just devastating there. Teams are looking for the engage, and nothing coming up yet.
Poking and prodding Mew, looking for some solar beams in the tall grass, looking for those cooldown reductions to maybe hint at where the Smorshwats are setting up. They're playing very conservative. Tubing Turtwig has a very good positional. That solar beam connects on two. Mew will likely know exactly where they're setting up. Snorlax still hiding through that choke point, trying to find a way in. I would love to see Smorshwats maybe enter in through that top path, knowing that there is that T1 goal zone. Good block engage from the Snorlax, though.
The Zacian did find the Scyther as it walked into its bush, being able to pull out there. Teams are putting in. It's just a beam fest. That Mew damage going to be racking up. This is exactly what you want to be doing when you have no healer, but the engage coming in. We have the Zoroark diving in, going into the Espeon Unite, coming in, taking that first knockout as Espeon is the first to fall, collapsing on the Scyther, but it's not going to be enough. Oh, huge Unite Volt Tackle with the combo of the Electro Ball. 1 and 2. Fall. 3. Fall for the side of the Tubing Turtwigs. It's only Mew and the Zacian. Zacian with Unite now as they look for a way to get in as Smorshwats is ripping this Rayquaza.
Rayquaza at half now. Snorlax, great block to section off the Zacian, who has their Unite move. They're charging it up. They're looking for it. The Sovereign Sword is a little bit early, but they still get it. The Mew saves the day for the Turtwigs.
But they still got to score. They have to get this in. 50 points coming in. That Zacian is going to be getting it done.
Wow.
Holy heck, what a set.
Oh my goodness. Smorshwats definitely trying to pull the trigger in the right moment, but unfortunately the Mew for the Turtwigs came in the right clutch moment. Incredible stuff there. I thought for sure it was going to be the Zacian that secured it. They had the Sovereign Sword lined up. I'm not sure how enhanced they had it, but still didn't matter. Froggy on the Mew, getting the job done.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm excited to see where exactly this Mew's damage is going to be at, because when you don't have a healer on your team and you're starting to get beam after beam onto you, like we all saw KOs almost on that Pikachu. We saw Serena take decent damage. Espeon was chipped. That was all that was. That was just huge chip damage coming in from Tubing Turtwigs. 80k damage. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that'll do the trick. I mean, Mew has been played a pretty decent amount today, and it seems like every game that we've seen it's had like a very big moment one way or another. And it seemed like for this Mew, it had several big moments.
Yeah, it's able to engage, able to disengage. Its Unite move is very valuable. Be able to hide your allies. Overall, it's a very versatile Mon. Not surprised it's coming in at all. I'm just surprised a lot of people know how to play it this well. It was just a Pokemon I struggle to learn with. So when you play a Mew and you play it that well, oh my gosh, you got my respect.
Yeah, it's not an easy Pokemon to know exactly when you need to be on what moveset, but there are definitely a lot of demon Mews out there, and we've seen a couple really strong Mew performances today. So I'm really excited to see, people playing some more skill-intensive Pokemon, especially because it does take a lot to really get the most out of a Mew.
Yeah, it does indeed. One of those high skill ceiling Pokemon. Same with the Zoroark. We have a lot of technical Pokemon from the side of the Tubing Turtwigs, and you can see why they were so valuable. The Zoroark combo into the Mew being like, if you're able to utilize those Pokemon coming in, even Zacian, being able to manage your Eos energy while you're using your moves, making sure you got enough points. It's so hard to do. It's a lot to keep track of, but if you're able to do it, you're going to see the great rewards that those Pokemon are able to bring for your team.
True. You're clear, Bina, by the way. So clear. All right, and then I'm updating. We're switching sides. Right. Yeah, I'm excited. Man, that was quite the exciting game here. I'm taking a
That
look.
was.
Martine on the Zoroark is very, very mean. I've played against Martine many of times, and his Zoroark is quite mean, and you saw it there. I'm wondering if we'll see it again. It's very likely that we'll see another speedster from Martine. He also plays a very good Leafeon and Dodrio.
Yeah, those are very deadly Pokemon. If I had a choice, I'd love to see Dodrio again. That's like a built into a score comp. I'd love to see score comp. We haven't seen that at all tonight. And I'm excited to see it as we have Suicune coming in our first ban here.
Suicune first ban, Latio second ban, and I think there are a lot of options still on the table. Obviously, Charizard, a fantastic ban. We saw Ho-Oh ban quite a bit today. I think, those are very much what's going to happen. So, very predictable ban phase.
Yeah, no Charizard tonight for us, so we're a little bit sad about that. But do we see a Snorlax or do we see an Umbreon on this first pick? Because those Pokemon are up right now. Okay. We got 5 seconds to decide. But I think what we got to look at too is like, how are we going to shut down Zoroark? If we're going to bring that in, if we're scared of speedsters, what is our win con to shut those down? Umbreon being a nice pick to look at that.
Umbreon is fine. I would like to see maybe a Mimikyu is a known speedster, stopper. You can also go something like your own speedster. Like Zeraora is also kind of a Pokemon that does really well into other speedsters. So I think you do have a few options. I think Buzzwole also does kind of does pretty well too, because you could kind of just punch the speedsters away with the Smackdown combo, or even as long as you're able to hit them with the Leech Life, it does a lot. I think even Darkrai, to a lesser extent, could do a pretty good job too.
Ooh, yeah, Darkrai being locked in here with the Alcremie. So this is going to be really strong here. Darkrai being able to stun with lots of sleep. Alcremie being able to support with either a slowing AoE and some heals, or with some power up onto some moves and some boosteds, and being able to throw down some stuns with D-Gleam.
Looking at what we're setting up here for Smorshawats, we're seeing the Pika and the Alolan Raichu, so double electric types on that side. So you see 2 Pikachus, maybe together, maybe separately. We could potentially see the Pikachu with the EXP share once again. They use that in game number 1. So I imagine looking at this composition, we will see another EXP share Pikachu. You'll likely have it on the Pikachu, and then the Snorlax for Smorshawats. And yeah, exactly what we're doing. I loved how Beezek was utilizing it, because it was saving those Volt Tackles for the dive from the Zoroark. And this is going to be tough, because now you have 2 speedsters that you have to Volt Tackle.
Yeah, you got a pseudo speedster too in that Machamp there. When he clicks that submission, he goes unstoppable, and he's just looking for any sort of target to suplex. That Snorlax is in danger. That's Blaziken's in danger. Aegislash might be the better one that's not with the wide guard, though.
Yeah, I mean, Aegislash is good into tankier compositions, but it also has a lot of shielding that you have to deal with, so it will be a little bit tougher for these speedsters to take it down, especially if it is in that shield form after it uses the wide guard. The micro stuns on it are pretty strong. I'll be interested to see if they go Sacred Sword, or if they decide to go with the Shadow Claw. I think Shadow Claw could actually be quite good. Either way, I love it, because it is able to chase and with those boosted autos. So like it'll essentially attach to itself to them. This is going to be a really interesting matchup here in game number 2. Tubing Turtwigs. Turting Tubewigs on your left side. Smorshawats on your right side.
And as we enter this final game of the night, we are going to have Pikachu XP Share Pikachu coming in with the Blaziken being able to lock in with the Snorlax, with the Raichu in the bottom here. Snorlax, nice tackle there. Being able to not secure it, though. The Umbreon gets it.
Okay, Umbreon, stealing a little bit of wild Pokemon experience on the side of Smarshawats. You'll definitely have to monitor that, but something that you have to monitor is that first K opener going over to the Turtwigs. That Machop already starting to heat up.
Yeah, that's something else you don't want to do, but Torchic comes in with a nice, sweet KO coming in there as the Pikachu re-enters the lane, as the Doublade comes up as well, and we're getting ready for these engages coming up in 10 seconds.
Big, and you're seeing already the Doublade, snuffing out where that Fletchinder was hiding, but the 850 Bird's going to be coming. It's going to be a little bit of a 3-on-3 up top, 2v2 down bottom, already going on in.
Here we go, the Doublade diving in, trying to get whatever it can on top of the shields from the Milcery from that helping hand already doing the work as Doublade goes down to the Machop and we get Machoke. We have the Dynamic Punch dive in now. Ooh, that is going to be very powerful coming in as the Machoke gets a double knockout.
They're not going to stop there. They're going to look for maybe a third on this Torchic, but shielding provided from that T1 goal zone is going to save them for the time being. They're very close from evolving here, which you would love to get if they can, but oh man, the eject button saves them for the time being.
Yeah, that's something you got to be as a Blaziken. You got to know how to run that eject button, even when you're a Torchic, even when you're a Combuskin. But their 8-minute birds are up. Machoke is here. Aegislash is coming in, but having second thoughts. Smarshawat's going to let that all go to the side of the Turtwigs, possibly look for a pick as they group together and move into this bottom lane.
Okay, yeah, I like this migration here, and you do get that Combuskin. It's going to have a tough time getting that one singular Aeos energy in, and they're going to pay for their crimes of their stacking of the attack weight. But they do get that level 6, very close to evolving at that level 7, but you're still not quite online until really you get that stance change at level 8. But we'll see what happens here at the 720 Birds.
Here we go. We do have the engage from the Aegislash with the nice wide guard there, but coming on top of the Umbreon, but the Darkrai with the nice putting everything to sleep. The Aegislash not able to continue its onslaught. We have our objective here coming up in 5 seconds as Umbreon starts zoning it out. It is Reg Ice, one of the objectives that most players consider useless, but it is going to be able to provide a nice passive with some nice healing as we come out here. But we have the Darkrai coming in, going in deep. Nice engage from the Snorlax as they collapse.
Oh, no way. Snorlax getting that and stealing away that Regice, allowing Blaziken to survive. And I think maybe our team might have been a little bit early on that fly, so unfortunate for them. Very fortunate for the Smarshawats, but look at that barrage blow.
Huge. That Machamp coming in being like, listen, I got more than just 2 fists. Get ready because it's coming hard. Talonflame is grouping with this Darkrai, being able to grab this Aegislash and dunk these points in for a commanding 129-63 lead.
Very commanding for the time being, but levels are almost to parity, but you do have a level 10 Machamp to deal with on the other side. But Smarshawats putting a little bit of pressure on this Regieleki, trying to rip it down before Tubing Turtwigs can respond, and looks like they've accomplished that mission.
Yep, the Pikachu duo there is that whole line is ready and reliable, but we get the KO on the Machamp as he moves towards the defense of his own pad there. The Champ coming in with the Snorlax engage block coming out. Not a whole lot being able to get done as Talonflame kidnaps the Aegislash, brings it in for the double knockout on the Darkrai here. We got now the third going down with Talonflame picking up the Pikachu, but Blaziken comes in. Huge overheat, missing everything. Darkrai gets his triple as the points rain in for Tubing Turtwigs.
Well, they might have left like maybe 15 points on the table there. I believe they could have potentially had a nice overcap, but they elected to just go ahead and break. They didn't want to risk, one of the Pokemon still coming back up to that top path. But they lose the objective, but they win that path. So fantastic response here for the Tubing Turtwigs. But other way KO found from the Aegislash.
Oh, they are paying for their hubris indeed. Tubing Turtwigs went in for the farm, and it just gave 3 KOs towards the Smorshawats. They went for farm. They came out getting farmed.
Not bad plays here. Raichu might be getting caught. You got to watch out for this Talonflame, but they're going to go ahead and utilize their Unite move. Going to try to dash on away. Unable to do so. Talonflame closes them out.
We are looking for the engage now. That on top of this, Aegislash, Machamp is being an absolute menace. Snorlax tries to grab it. It's going to be enough to knock out the Talonflame, but Tubing Turtwig says, you know what, we got Alcremie, and we're going to use this Unite move. We're going to get all these heals, all these dollops, and secure the Regirock.
8 points gathered and a buff gathered from that Darkrai, but you're going to have another objective coming up here, but met with a little bit of resistance. Raichu going back to the Pokemon Center. Look at this positioning here for the Turtwig. Blaziken found in the tall grass.
Oh, they knew exactly where it was. They may not have been like, hey, Blaziken's absolutely right here, right now, but they were like, listen, if there's anywhere he's going to be, it is going to be right there. Machamp is looking for the zoning out onto this Blaziken. Doesn't even care about the Snorlax, the pseudo diver coming in here with the nice dynamic punches. Being able to lock down that Snorlax, trying to heavy slam here, converting Regieleki to the Tubing Turtwig way as it walks towards this T2 pad.
It's gonna maybe make its way home. Raichu is gonna respond. Blaziken also, oh man, almost knocking on that door. Talonflame Flame Sweep's gonna try to move a couple Pokemon out of the way, but the Snorlax able to hold strong. Heavy slam into the block, and it's gonna take out the Umbreon. Tubing Turtwig scrambling back to their side of the map.
They are indeed. You can't push this hard too much because we're 60 seconds out from Rayquaza. We have a lot of farm on the map that we need to pick up, a lot of Pokemon to capture. So what does Smorshawats need to do to get back into this match there, Kyle? Because they are far behind.
Yeah, they really are. They're going to need to maybe watch out for this Darkrai, who's going to likely have its Unite move at Rayquaza. Unless it uses it a little bit early, I can't imagine they will. But this is going to be an uphill battle. They'll have a potential. They have positioning for this basement objective as well. Only 11 seconds to gather that and take it down, so I don't think that they will try to go for it. So I think the key is here. Make sure your Blaziken stays alive because that's going to be your critical piece for securing Rayquaza if it is contested. But before that, you're going to have to find the Talonflame. You're going to have to find that Darkrai.
Right now, it looks like they found that Snorlax trying to get a nice position into this into the Ray pit right here. Snorlax looking for the engage, but it's not the target they're looking for. That is the Machamp. Pikachu coming in with a nice Electro Ball coming in. Snorlax, oh, huge power nap coming in. I don't think it needed it right then and there. Machamp, huge coming in on that Pikachu. Nice, but oh, we have Unite moves coming in. Alcremie Unite already out there. Collapse on the Aegislash Turtwigs. Taking it down. That's 2 down for the Smorshawats there on the back foot. Darkrai trying to pivot, trying to keep everything up going a little bit by isolating one Pokemon here.
Yeah, Snorlax took the Unite move from Darkrai, so maybe not the prime target that Darkrai was looking for. I believe they were trying to take the Blaziken, but a good body block from the Snorlax allows that to happen. We have Unite moves now. Pikachu gonna rain down some electricity from the sky, but they're gonna going down. Raichu also falls. Umbreon on the other side now down, so 2 Pokemon down for the Smorshawats. 1 for the Turtwigs, and now the Talonflame is also going down. This is a good comeback here for this Aegislash.
1, 2, 3 reverse sweep as Blaziken picks up a 4 KO knockout streak, but Machamp is the only one still up. Umbreon coming back in. As their Great Green Dragon starts to go down, Machamp is like, listen, I'm still in position to get this. They're ready to go. Aegislash grabs it. There's the dragon going towards it, gets the shield burned, but Pikachu is here. Raichu has a shield. Does Snorlax have a shield? That might be the only way to come back.
223, 206, so advantage right now for the Smorshawats. They are holding at least one more shield with that Snorlax. Raichu also has one, so Snorlax going to heavy slam directly into it. That's going to be another Hundo Burger served fresh. Talonflame the other way, only 16 points. That's not going to do the trick. Raichu's going to find their way in that T2 in the top side, and that should be all she wrote. Smorshawats finding a way with the Blaziken. Like we said, it stood upright. It wasn't the secure tool that got it, but you don't need to have it up if you're able to KO many of the opposing side, and they did 4, and they got a lot of them. A lot of work done by that Pokemon.
Oh yeah, Blaziken was the hero of that fight for sure. Coming in with 4 KOs right at the end there. Oh my gosh. This is now a 1-1 set coming in.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Blaziken was so good, so strong.
I like
69k damage.
Yeah, I like a good Blaziken. I'm terrible at it, but I respect good Blaziken. I think like top path is always like the most volatile role because it's feast or famine, and when you have a good top laner, I mean that's why you see like people in teams like LG that thrive because Overlord's playing the top path. It's not always the central area Pokemon. That's kind of like your quote unquote best player. So I do like having like a really strong top laner, and man, they worked that Blaziken quite well, especially at that end fight.
They did, but oh my gosh, that Machamp was putting in the work. 74k on Machamp with Dynamic Punch. Bro was level 10 before anybody else was really level 9. He was flying, he was soaring, and he held his own right at the Ray Pit too, coming in, being able to just zone out and threaten the Rayquaza.
True. Yeah. Well, good job for all these squads today. We have one final. Oh wait, did I click the right button? I did click the right button. We have one final drawing for today. We'll do one more Latias license and one more coin pack, and
Ooh.
we'll see who gets the dubs. This is for the Latias, and it is the Ice Tray. What a name! I like that name. All right, congratulations,
cool
the Ice
name,
Tray. You
one
got
might say.
a Lati. It's very cool. I like it. This is for the AO's coin pack, 4K coins. And it's going to go to Clemencat. Congratulations to everybody. Thank you to Pokemon for providing us the codes. And
Thank you, Pokemon.
Yeah. Alrighty. Well, that wraps us up for our sets today. We'll start to wrap up final thoughts on the tournament and such. I think with that, I want to hand this over to Bina for any final thoughts.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Hi, everyone.
Bina, putting you on the spot.
We should get Lordy up here too.
Yeah, we'll get Lordy.
Hold on. I'm gonna go steal Lordy.
Okay, you steal Lordy. I'm gonna let Hyde have the last thoughts. His last
Ooh,
thoughts.
what is up? No, I think teams fought really, really well. So one of the beautiful things I loved about the First Steps program just overall is how inclusive it has been in terms of skill level, allowing everybody to come in. It's a learn at your own pace kind of environment. You got mentors coming in. It was overall a really positive experience to be able to participate twice, cast through it for once. So super happy to have that. And as you can see, like a lot of the players here tonight, they didn't just participate in this session. They came in and they participated in sessions 1, sessions 2, sessions 3. We had new players picked up along the way, but this is the culmination of what they have learned over the last 2 months being showcased tonight. And it's been an amazing ride to be able to see that journey to the end.
Yeah, I agree. Well said. Well said, Hyde. Bina, do you want to start, or do we want to let Lordy say his piece?
Lordy can, yeah.
Lordy, speech.
Say what he wants.
Go.
Bro, what? I get thrown into this.
Speech.
No
Speech.
I don't know, whatever you want to say.
Yeah, any final thoughts on the program as we wrap up our final session?
With how we started it, it all came down to Bina's idea for trying to get more of a foundation for the Unite community. While we know that there's quite a bit of great players and great people in the community, there's not a lot of influx of newer blood into the scene. So trying to make something to build up that foundation to then build more fans and get the game more hype is something that we just kind of wanted to explore and try to make something for everybody. I think Vina captured the idea greatly, and I'm happy to have Underdunk be a part of that process. It wouldn't be anything without the help of the mentors that pretty much sacrifice their time to better themselves, better the community, and then not to mention build themselves fans. Luckily we had Whaley, Zelot, Dispenza, and a bunch of other great mentors that helped, and sacrifice their time to try to help newer people into the scene, explain, it may be the same repetitive information that common players know, like, oh, be spawn here, this is the time, this is rotation. Trying to get people to learn is not the easiest concept, but I think they all did a really great job, and we couldn't have done it without them and all the players and all the casters.
True. Well said, Lordy. Thank you. Appreciate you. It was all Lordy's. Lordy did a good job too. For those that don't know, Lordy did a lot of things in the back end that he doesn't get to give himself a pat on the back because we have to pat him on the back.
Yeah, and it's so high. It's hard.
It's
for little
really
Kyle
hard.
and I to
I'm
reach up
really
there
short,
and
and
pat
Lordy's
him
really
on
tall.
on that tall back.
He's really tall, and I'm not tall. But yeah, big shout out to Lordy. Doing a lot too. Bina, any final thoughts as we start
I
to
just
wrap
want
up?
to thank absolutely every single person that was involved in this program, be it behind the scenes or be it those of you that came through the program, even those of you that reached out and said, hey, I was still having a great time. Do you need a fill-in for this tournament, which even happened today? We've learned a ton from this. We're trying to get inventive and creative within the Unite space, developing a digital space to replicate the experience of maybe going to these in-person events or maybe what happens at your local Play Pokemon leagues. So we are still exploring those ideas and looking for new ways to experience Unite together online, maybe even in person one day, who knows, but that's like far and away. So we're definitely looking to continue to experiment more on Underdunk. Not necessarily our weekly Underdunks, but outside of that, we want to try some new creative tournament ideas. We may be taking first step on the road to a Discord near you, because we want to outreach to more players that might be interested in Unite, but have literally never had a chance to pick up the game yet. So we are looking towards that as an option going forward. And maybe something else to do with allowing you guys to come back together and get randomly assigned to teams and have a little experience to play together. We really like this idea of allowing all of you to intermingle, learn together, team up. It's amazing. Like all of the teams and players we've seen get introduced to each other, and I think we are even going to see some new teams for UCS 2026 emerging out of First Step, which is absolutely super exciting. So, thank you absolutely so much to all of you.
Yes, big shout out to everybody involved. Shout out the players that played, the mentors. Big shout out Bina. Obviously, Bina's the mastermind of the First Step program and put in a ton of work. I don't know how many late nights of just like idea messages or like messing with Discord settings, setting up like the teams, everything. Like there's so much that goes into making this, and we did 4 sessions, so ton of stuff. I hope everybody had fun. Hope that we were able to, kind of bring something for the community that was really great. I had a lot of fun. I hope everybody had fun. Please fill out the survey too, because if you did not have fun or if there's things that we could do better, that is the way that we know. Obviously we try to we try to listen to any concerns that come up as well. But obviously we are a small team, so we try to do our best to take the feedback from the surveys of how we can improve, and we'll try to implement everything that we can in whatever comes next, because that is how we get better. So please fill out your surveys. Otherwise, Bina will be upset. And when Bina's upset, I'm upset. And you don't want me to be upset, because then I might cry. I won't cry. But either way, anything else that I'm missing? Anything I'm missing today? What we got next? We got Underdunk in 2 weeks. It's so weird that we don't have like an actual thing to have or host in like 2 weeks. So get a nice rest week next week.
You say rest. We won't be resting.
No, we won't be resting. We'll be doing something, I'm sure.
We will
I'm
be
doing
creating.
something,
We're
I'm
going back to the
sure.
laboratory.
The
God damn
laboratory.
it.
All right, everybody. Well, we'll make sure to get those codes for those that won out to everybody that won tomorrow. Other than that, we will see you when we see you. It's going to be at least not next Thursday, but the following Thursday, we'll have Underdunk number 59. 59, is that right?
Oh, isn't that
Yep.
Groudon release
Arcanine.
day?
It is Groundhog release
Arcanine.
day. Arcanine.
Oh, Underdunk living up to the first for everything.
Yeah. So stay tuned for that. That is going to be the first NA Groudon tournament. So stay tuned for that. We'll make sure to get signups out once they become once the Start GG page is up. Otherwise, make sure to follow us on the Twitter and stuff, or look for the Discord when we have new things coming up. Other than that, I hope everybody has a good rest of your Saturday evening, and we will see you next time. Bye bye now.